Boom! Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to James Redmond TV and welcome to the LFC Talk Show. It's getting better and better by the week. You're loving it. We're loving it even more. And it's a pleasure to have everyone again. I'd like to take the honour to say that I'm joined by a few special guests. You might know them by now. If you're new to the series, then allow me to introduce the people. Mr. Darren Whelan, how are we, my friend?
I'm all good, brother. No hassle in the castle, yeah. No trouble in the bubble on my end, so all's well and hopefully all's well, ends well, yeah, brother. But yeah, pleasure to be on as always.
Oh, I love that, my mate. Nah, thank you for coming on. Really do appreciate it. Then I'm joined by the way, people, I see you in the chat. Don't worry, I see you all. We're going to say hello to you all in a sec as well. But let me into it. Well, I've got to change the accent now. My brother from Scotland, my boy, Conroy. Hello, my friend.
How you doing, mate? All good?
How was that on a scale of 1 to 5?
That was pretty good, mate. That was pretty good. You get some horrendous ones, especially from actors.
Being generous, but I'll take it.
No, it's good, mate. It's good. People think I'm Irish on some of the chats, so I wouldn't worry about it, to be honest.
To be fair, I've been called Irish and American before. Quite a few times.
I don't know where it comes from. We should just do the Conor McGregor one for all of us, and just that's it. The Conor McGregor accent for all of us. That'll cover us all at the moment.
Listen, my friend, we'll just go repeatedly do this one, and then we'll hope for the best. But we can't forget the boy. We cannot forget the boy at all. The one, the only. Is that my brother Nick chilling there in the bottom left or the bottom right? I'm not good with me left and right. Saint LFC TV, come on, man. Welcome to the stream, brother. People, go subscribe to Saint LFC TV. Great channel, great content, and everything that you want to see.
People, please help me get there. I would absolutely be more than chuffed, man. Please.
You're on 200 yesterday, you greedy bastard. You're on 200 yesterday.
He's smashing it.
You must be nearly there, Nick.
Bro, I'm like, listen,
hopefully at the end of this stream, you'll be even closer. Hopefully at the end of this stream, you'll be even closer. So, people, Saint LFC TV, the sooner we get him on 1,000 subscribers, I can start putting his name in the title, which will be even better. So, the sooner we get him there, the better people. But shout out to everyone. Cheers, 250 is the goal for today. Hopefully, people. So, thank you for everyone who's joined us. We really do appreciate it. And it's the first show, boys, that we're doing off a win. Come on, you mighty Reds. Let's go. Love that. That's the energy that we want to be seeing. Shout out to all the mods that are in the stream. Shout out to my brother Kaiser. Always here, mate. Listen, always smashing it as well. Always smashing it. Great mods. Charlie, welcome, my friend. Marco, hello there, brother. Also, people, to be like a little bit more interactive at the end of the show. What we're going to do, we're going to answer any comments or so if there's any topics we maybe haven't gone over, I'll answer questions in the comments. I'll go through a few of the questions that you asked. We'll take it to the panel. And yeah, it's just going to be another one of them shows, boys. So we'll save that at the end. Hopefully you enjoy. Make sure you've got your cup of tea and let's get into it.
Smash that
cup of Rosie. Get the cup of Rosie in.
Get the cup of Rosie. Yeah, whatever you drink. Whether it's a cuppa, whether it's a coffee, whether it's a whether it's a bevy, mate. We're all chilling and we're all celebrating a victory. And shout out to the neutrals as well. You know what I mean? Shout out to the United fans who may get knocked out of the Europa League next week. Just shout out to them because we might as well. Listen, and you know what? Haters will say we're 8th in the league or out wherever we are, and Man United are wherever they are. But that's why I'm saying welcome to them as well. Because they're just as important, I suppose. You know what I'm saying, boys? You know what I'm saying?
Well, we're all second this season because City have a one.
Passive aggression, I love it.
We're all seconds. In the words of Darren Whelan, we're all seconds. We're all second. I like that. Before we do get into the game, I do actually just want to mention, boys, the legendary Joe Fagan, born 100 years ago today. Come on now, I thought that deserved a little honourable mention at the start of the show. Listen, taking us to a treble in 83-84. Mate.
Yeah. First one as well in...
First one. European Cup League title and League Cup as well. Come on, the boy.
The statue's on the way for him, isn't it? Talk of it in that Anfield Road expansion. He's going to have a statue in his memory, so happy days. Great news.
Fantastic.
Long overdue, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely.
Listen, we never had that pleasure to watch his team week in, week out. I mean, I know you boys are older than me, but I'm sure you're the same. To vividly remember it as well, you know, quite I mean, I don't know if you can question me on that, but I weren't born at them times, and mate, it's one of them things to contribute to the 7 European trophies that we have. Love it. Absolutely love it, mate. Do you know what I'm saying?
I see what you've done there, James. See what you've done there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, my friend? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jack Rose.
The Magnificent Seven.
The Magnificent Seven. Is Prime David De Gea top 5 keepers in Premier League era? Little Man United question. That is a very good question. That's a good little start to the show, even though it's not Liverpool related, but I'll answer that happily. I put Schmeichel above him.
100%
I
put Schmeichel's 500 grand as well. Schmeichel cost 500 grand from Brøndby as well. So
Pepe Reina? That fair?
Probably wasn't in a line.
Reina was quality.
No, he was quality. No, don't get it twisted. He was quality. No, we're not talking about quality. We're not wasting time.
I'd put Cech above De Gea.
Oh yeah, Cech. Yeah, let's get the obvious. Schmeichel, Cech.
Yeah, Schmeichel, Cech.
Who else is like a proper bang on obvious one?
See, this might be reactionary, but do you not think De Gea's always had weaknesses in the sense of it's a bit like Lloris? Like he's got weaknesses in the sense from corners. He did improve a lot.
Bro, he's always been a great shot stopper, and he's done great bits in that season, like when he played Everton and he had a great game against Everton and whatnot. I don't know if you remember that. I can't remember the season, but I swear it was under Louis van Gaal. That was when it was like Prime De Gea.
He did get them like 20. I think he got like must have gained them about 15 points in one season. Because I think
one season. I respect De Gea. I respect De Gea. But top
player of the season.
Do you know how sick Pepe Reina was, though, please? Reina was so good.
I think for Pepe Reina, it was
maybe the longevity was against him because his last couple he wasn't great. Maybe that's the issue.
He didn't get enough honours either, did he? Compared to De Gea.
You could argue De Gea has had a poor. Like
Van der Sar has got to be
100%.
Yeah, Van der Sar. He was at Fulham as well. He was brilliant.
Fulham as well. He's unbelievable for Fulham as well. Not just United. He was ridiculous for Fulham. Van der Sar.
What about our Irish goalie legend Shay Given? He was a good Premier League keeper. Very good at. Yeah, Shay Given.
But I mean, Shay Given at Newcastle wasn't bad. But,
he was very good. He was very
good. He was good. He wouldn't.
He was like.
No, he was. He was sad. He
was sad.
He's not getting in this conversation, is he?
I wouldn't say he was above Pepe Reina, let alone De Gea. Well, I suppose that's kind of an answer we've kind of come to. Do
you think Courtois gets in that, guys? Do you think Courtois? Because I spoke to Chelsea. I thought Courtois was ridiculous for Chelsea. Like I thought he was amazing.
No. De Gea goes above Courtois. De Gea goes above Courtois.
But bear in mind, Courtois got Peter Cech out of the team. Remember that Courtois.
He got two really good
that was what 36.
And then he went to Madrid.
Yeah, that's where he came at Madrid. He scuffed out.
Yeah, bro. As you've just said, though, Conroy. David De Gea saved Man United about 20 points to 25 points. Petr Cech was past his prime, mate. You can't use that as a same comparison.
No,
in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree, mate. I was only asking. I wasn't saying. See, the thing with Courtois is, I just remember. See how you talk about intimidation from a keeper. I thought he put a lot of players off just with the intimidation factor one-on-one. I think that maybe I'm just thinking about that one specific season. Maybe impressive seasons is a different question, but I did think Courtois was special for one of those seasons.
I think it's just one of those.
No, he was a quality goalkeeper. I just wouldn't have put him above.
There was 2 seasons probably, Conroy, where he was outstanding, and he was such a huge presence. Like he was nearly 7 foot or something, wasn't he? He was a colossus in goal. But I think De Gea
wasn't
is
the same keeper at Madrid. 100% agree with that. That Chelsea one season, I thought he was brilliant.
I agree. But then if we're not going to put Pepe Reina in there for longevity, then I just think, do you know what I mean? I feel like
No. Just thought it was a question, guys. It's interesting because Chelsea fans always like say Courtois wasn't good, and I'm thinking,
do you know what, boys? Carry on this same conversation for the next 30 seconds. I'm lowering these lights because I look like Cash with a friendly ghost, so I'll be back in 20 seconds.
Any other guys?
It's a good point, Conrad. There was decent keepers, but like I know I mentioned Shay Given, it was just because of the Irish thing, but he was good, mate. He was very good, and especially for Ireland as well, but he just didn't achieve enough, did he? Because he was at Newcastle, and Newcastle, it was kind of mid-table.
He was good for Newcastle, though. He was good.
Very good. See when Liverpool beat Newcastle 5-1, right? I remember thinking Shay Given, that would have been 12-1 if it wasn't for Shay Given. Shay Given made
and for the size of him, he didn't deserve to be saving those. Like some of the like, mate, how are you getting to these?
Shay Given was very good. Like,
prime Shay Given was.
Are we forgetting anybody? Forgetting anybody obvious that we're maybe forgetting?
Well, David Seaman, isn't it? Be up there.
Seaman, but I do think that
we're not going to say David
De Gea
James
was better than was better. David James he was a good keeper, but had too much calamities in him.
Alisson's in with a shout.
Yeah, at the moment, but because it's only.
I was just about to say, I don't know yet. I don't know yet.
Is that his third season, Alisson? This
is his third season.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'd say his form at the moment. I'd hold off just a bit. I think he's up there. He's
I think that's fair. I think that's fair, mate. Yeah, I think that's fair. You got to be real. You can't just be like red tinted goggles and everything. So
that's it.
I feel like we've got over the goalkeeper conversation now, boys. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Hopefully, I don't look as pale, people. But now we're ready. Now we're ready to go. I want to talk about a Liverpool victory. I want to talk about a Liverpool W because let's be honest, we haven't had many to do so recently. And listen, mate. Going through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Don't mind if I diddly fucking do. Don't mind if I diddly fucking do. We might be shit. We might be shit, right, boys? But I will tell you this now, when it comes to this European shit, don't chat to us, people.
We run this thing.
Last year's an anomaly. Because I know people are going to bring up Atletico Madrid. It's an anomaly.
And that was because of Adrian.
Well,
we battered them in that game as well.
That was a tale of two keepers. It was a tale of two keepers that night. Adrian, one real chance he had to come out save it, and he didn't. And All Black that night, like with 35 shots on goal. Now they all went on target.
And poor finishing again by the front three.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. But there was chances in that game, Conroy, where Lember, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Firmino, a couple of chances where only for the keeper they were going in any other day in a league game. But it was just a tale of two keepers that night, to be fair. But I suppose it's the reality of the Champions League, isn't it?
Yeah, now our European pedigree is second to none. It shouldn't even be. We are a different breed in that competition.
Yeah, and that's a different team. It's a different team.
Yeah, that's just facts. That was 2005. We seemed like a different team. We weren't doing great in the league either. Do you know what I mean? And we just, I'm saying, that's just how it is.
Listen, boys, like this. Do you know what it is? Yeah, I don't like making comparisons. I do get the comparisons, and I love like. The only reason why I don't do it, or I don't like the comparisons, is only as a Liverpool fan. Because as a Liverpool fan, I've got that emotional attachment to it, and I don't like to put myself in that situation if it falls short. As a football fan, I do like it, and I understand why people make the comparisons between it. Because right now, like then, even though we do still have better players in certain areas, we're very damaged, and we're not exactly the Liverpool as we are known to be. Very similar to then as well. And when you talk about being underdogs in most rounds, we were the underdog for this round. And even though we weren't, we was. Like more people thought Leipzig were going to win these games of football. People thought even a 2-0 advantage weren't going to be enough for us to go through to the quarterfinals. And I'm not being funny. I know, like, if you're 2-0 up, the job should be done. The job should be done at 2-0 up, but to do it, and I know that we haven't been great at Anfield, but mate, to do it in a different country, to do it in the form that you've been in, to do it after making changes like Fabinho and Nat Phillips, who we're going to talk about. Listen, fair play to the team and fair play to the manager, because that's the first game, in my opinion, all season to where I can actually say everyone's done their part. Nearly everyone got a 10 out of 10 for me.
Apart from the front three for me.
Nearly.
That's why I said nearly. Yeah. That's why I said nearly. Everyone got a 10 out of 10.
Do you know what? I actually enjoyed watching that game of football as well, man. When was the last time you actually enjoyed watching that?
I'm sorry that I'm like, that's so factional, Nick. And do you know what? I'm sorry that I keep going on. But can I mention as well, like an open play goal that was like brilliant team play.
Chances,
bro. Are we not talking about
chances, bro?
But more clear chances.
Yeah, but I do think it's because specifically it's Leipzig, and specifically I thought they were quite poor in both legs as well. What I mean is the second half they really had to go for it. I don't know about you, I thought Liverpool were very good from defence to midfield, but I'll be honest with you, I thought Leipzig, those defenders I thought were just atrocious. Shocking. Like they couldn't mark runners, and it was like, don't get me wrong, second legs I get it. The thing I would say, James, is I thought we would get through only because, see, the first leg, they were just, I thought they were so poor defensively that you could always I can't pronounce his name. What's he called again?
Upamecano.
Upamecano. Ren Roya.
I've got to be honest, guys. Right, I think I've seen enough, and I'm going to. You can clip this up, but for me, nah. He's too much. He's too far away to be a top defender. He's too far away. Like for me,
he's name brand. Everyone just goes to him. Yeah. But when you actually sit down and look at that's why I always said Konate. If you looked at the two, I thought Konate was the better of the two. Because Upamecano just had that name brand. It was like, oh, Upamecano, but he's calamitous.
I'm glad we never got him. I'm glad we never got him.
I also
all the injury stuff, he just isn't.
I think
great.
Nick as well and Conroy James. I think our high pressing game cost them a lot of problems. Upamecano, even in the first leg, Mane ran Roya against them. They were ragged, and like we scored 2 goals, John. We could have had 5 or 6 in a row, and it really would have been a huge statement. But it would have shown how poor Leipzig were.
It should have been.
It should have been, yeah. But I do agree, man. Konate, it seems to me like he's a bit more compact, command, and shows a bit more. He's better on the ball than Upamecano. I thought over the 2 legs, Upamecano, bang average player. He didn't look any better than Nat Phillips or Kabak. I think Kabak in the 2 legs, to be fair to him, particularly in the first leg, he was man of the match. He was good as well, John. He was composed. Fantastic. Now we can go into the sympathy I have for us, John, is okay. We missed a lot of chances. The front three were very wasteful in the first half, and if that's against a more quality and experienced opponent, they do beat us on the night. But the sympathy I have, Conroy, is that we haven't been creating. We have looked not less than a shadow of what we have been. So for us to come out that night, to keep a clean sheet, be all around compact, and to play midfielders in midfield, centre-halves or centre-half, and to create chances, for me, was huge. Even though I was shouting at the telly, particularly at Mane, but that was huge for me.
I agree.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like the team, it's not the team's fault. The fact it could have been 4-0 or 5-0, and as a matter of fact, should have been 4-0 or 5-0. And it's not the same. Should have been 4 or 5-0 as usual. It should have been 4 or 5-0 with them. The finishing was terrible. It's been terrible all season. No, like this. Like honestly, mate, don't even start, Nick, because you're gonna give me a broken heart. But what I'm trying to say is the point that I'm trying to lead to. That's not the manager's fault. That's not the team's fault. And as a team, that's the best we've played in a long time, probably since Wolves 4-0.
Yeah,
I think we play better. I think we play better in this game than we did Tottenham and West Ham.
And when you've seen the starting lineup, you were a lot more confident about the game, weren't you? When you're seeing the anchor man, the general as a CDM in midfield and Fabinho, you felt right that I'm excited. And then you have him in midfield with Thiago for the first time, with Gini. Then the front three was even changed up because Bobby was injured and Jota come in with Phillips and Kabak at the back. You thought, yeah, I'm excited by this. So I even looking at the lineup, it gave me huge encouragement. And then particularly how we started the game as well.
Can I ask you a question, guys? See, for me, right now, I ask this because I think James has alluded to it. Sometimes when you watch a game, you're maybe focusing on one player during the game, so you're missing what other people are doing. And I've done that myself. I've watched games. Sheffield United's prime example. I didn't even notice the 3-2-5 until I rewatched it. So I'm always straight away to hear other people's thoughts. See, for me, I know you alluded to the front three, Dan, and I know you thought the front three would, well, not Mane, but the movement was good. Personally, in my opinion, I think it's just due to Jota. His movement was good and it made the others have space because they were just making the same runs. But because Jota, he just picks up his little number 10 rolls. I don't know if you see it, even for Salah's goal. He does that about 4 times a game. He drops deep and he picks. It's like what David Silva would do. He's not David Silva, but he's so good at that. So he gets the ball on the turn. And I wouldn't even say he's still a bit rusty, but you can tell his movement is a different dimension to the team. And the first goal shows that. I mean, everyone will talk about Salah's finish, but for me, I'm not saying the other two, but the other two to me look like a bit lack of ideas when it comes to movement because they're fed up making the same runs. But when Jota comes, it's like Jota just says, well, why are you not trying it here? When he goes in there, creates the space. And for me, Jota's the difference. And Jota's not even 100% yet. I actually think that guy is frightening. His movement is so good. Like, it's actually underrated. See the amount of times he makes a run and he doesn't get the ball. That's the scary part. That could get even better for me.
No.
Yeah, he's so explosive.
See, that's 100% true, Conroy, and I know you're not even saying this, but that's another reason to why we were better. Whether it was because Jota was there or not, we've realised that, and that's what we need to go with going forward. Like, whether it's Firmino or whether it's Mane, whether it's Firmino or whether it's Mane, one of them have got to go.
100%. Couldn't agree more, mate.
And I don't mean sell. If you want to use them in the squad, go for it.
No, I hear that. But then one needs to hold bench.
I'm not being funny. There's been no evidence to say that we're better with them 3 up front. and there's more evidence in the much less time that Diogo Jota's been playing, in terms of he adds more to this current squad. Do you get what I'm saying?
And that's what his finishing was in that game. And we're still seeing the difference.
And it's his finishing that's let us down, and he still has a great game. And people were slandering Jota, and rightly so, due to the fact that finishing was shocking. But with a little bit more match fitness, and I'm not trying to give him excuses, but we've saw him score 3 against Atlanta, for example. So,
I think he'd be good,
with a little bit of match fitness, mate, he could be unstoppable.
Even that shot in the thingy that got saved, that shot was outstanding. That was a very good save.
But you see, the thing is with Jota, it's like, this is him at like 80% right now. So I gave him a 6.5 at the game, but the only reason I was doing that is because see the finishing. No, but see the finishing after the game, I was a bit annoyed because all I'm saying, guys, is we need to be ruthless in the sense of, see, when you're against a top team, you only get one chance, and we can't have being nice to people or being over kind. But for me, Jota, I thought looked rusty, and he still was. His movement, guys, he does that run all the time, and we don't find him all the time. So honestly, for me, Fabinho, Phillips, amazing. But when I've watched it again, I think Jota's movement is actually... See, when you watch that second goal with the BT highlights and you actually see what he does, and it's like he's not stupid either. He comes back on side. He's intelligent. He actually makes the game simple.
Technically on the ball, I mean, you could put a shout for Firmino, but he could be the best of the front three, especially right now in terms of ideas-wise.
And he'll get better, James. He will get better, mate.
He's unbelievable. I want to just read these super chats out there quick though, before we carry on. Shout out to Mo. What team do you want us in the quarters, boys? I'm hoping either Porto, Real or Chelsea. The rest have some fast attackers. Our defence will struggle. We're going to get onto that. We're going to talk about who we want in the next rounds and whatnot. We're actually going to talk about that in a minute after we've just touched on a few more points about the game. But also shout out to Jay Stacey. Appreciate the super chat, my mate. Never left a message, but we do appreciate it. And also shout out to the one, the only Iron Mike Tyson, my friend. Yeah, imagine Kabak and that making Liverpool win the Champions League. That would be the greatest Champions League. I'm not even asked. That could be more impressive than 2005. That could be more impressive. Like if we win the Champions League with them as our centre backs, Jurgen Klopp is goated. And I don't mean like. Do you know when people start bringing up? Do you know when people start bringing up Sir Alex and whatnot? I get it, 13 league titles, all this bollocks, however many Champions League. If you win the Champions League with motherfucking Kabak and Nat Phillips, who was going to go to the Championship, I don't care if you finish 17th in the fucking league, you are ghosted.
I think we'll be getting a statue with them in the Anfield Road expansion.
Final with them, I still think that's a massive achievement if we get through the next round, because you can get anybody at the end of the day. But
there'll be statues for them then in this new Anfield Road expansion. You'd have to get them a statue.
Did you see the meme? It was Haaland, Mbappe, and Nat Phillips, and it said...
So funny.
Lad, that was sick!
The new generation, the new Giants.
Do you hear what I'm saying? Oh my days. Do you know what?
My brother Nat.
My brother Nat, man.
Looking like
Virgil Van Phillips, what a player.
Virgil Van Phillips, Nathaniel Deeney, like whatever the fuck you want to call him, you go for it, mate.
Bolton Baresi is the best one.
Oh my god, Bolton Baresi, I know. Mate, boys, let's talk about Nat Phillips. Because Fabinho back in the midfield is a big conversation. It's a massive conversation, and it was actually the biggest difference of the team. But if we're not going to talk about Nat Phillips, then I feel like that's very disrespectful. And we are going to talk about Nat Phillips, so let's get into it. Shout out to Jack Rose. Thank you very much for the super chat. And also shout out to Captain Meets Adventures. How would Paisley losing Clem, Hansen, Souness, King... Thank you very much for the super chat, my mate. Really do appreciate it, brother. Really do appreciate it. Boys, Nat Phillips. Like, I'm sorry. There's something about a story that I like. And there's something about this story in particular that intrigues me. And now let me tell you something now about Nat Phillips. Is he the best technically on the ball? No. Is he the quickest? No, not even close. He's a fucking snail, mate. Do you know what I'm saying? He's not fast.
It's quicker than Reece Williams.
Is he a bit stumbly? He might be. He might be a bit stumbly. But let me tell you now, when we talk about Martin Skirtle on steroids, you get Nat Phillips. Yeah. You get Nat Phillips. And let me tell you now, that motherfucker doesn't even care if there's a meteoroid itself coming to Earth. He will go, hold my fucking earrings and go woomph. and headed that knobhead back to fucking Jupiter or wherever the fuck it came from.
Send it
Do you
round
hear
the
what I'm
post,
saying? Like, lad,
Yeah.
he doesn't care. He's got passion. He's got personality. He loves to be there. You can see that he embraces every single moment that he's wearing that red shirt, and he takes it with the biggest of opportunities. Do you know, like, when you see kind of like a kid in a candy store or in a toy shop or something, and their eyes light up, and they're looking around and they're like, wow. Like, bro, every time a ball comes for his fucking absolutely gorgeous head, mate, he just goes, fuck off. Like, listen, yeah, water is wet, the sky is blue, and Harry Maguire, Nat Phillips is better than you, and I'm not even asked. It's a fucking fact.
Very good.
It's a fact. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Brilliant. Yeah.
Do you hear what I'm saying? Yeah. That's getting on Instagram. I don't give a fuck. That's getting on Instagram.
That's quality.
Tagging Nat Phillips and everything.
See, the thing is, guys, right? You know, we joke and we say it, right? He does it. He done it against West Ham. But I'm not even being funny, right? I think we're downplaying that he might actually be the best defensive header ball ever. Like, I'm not even joking. It's getting to the point now where folk are actually scared. People are scared, and it's like, not scared, but do you know, like when Van Dijk, you never try to outpace him. I've seen like Pilsen the other night and Sorloth. They actually
just look at it like
they don't think they're going to win it because he just wins. Yeah. Everything, like, it's expected, and that gets downplayed. That's ridiculous. Like, that's a skill in itself. And James, what you're saying for me, mate, is, I said this a couple of weeks ago. I'm not saying I expected him to do this well, but for me, Nat Phillips, when he's a chance, is improved at a good trajectory. Like, he has improved, and you could see that he's kept he's took his chances, and he has improved. And for me, he seems to get better. Like, you're saying he's not got any pace, 100%, but he knows he's not got any pace, so he doesn't try to put himself in silly situations. Like, I don't know if you saw when he was at Cliver, he was running on the left, and he waited, he didn't dive in.
I watched that closely. That. Yeah.
I think he's improved more in a short space of time. Because bear in mind, guys, this guy was not meant to be Liverpool centre half. This is a youth academy product who's
he's
meant
not
to
even a Premier League level centre half. If you're asking in the summer,
he wasn't even registered in the Champions League.
This is what I mean.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
No.
Listen to what man's saying.
In the Champions League and get, for me, man of match, because I thought Fabinho was great, but I expect Fabinho. I've seen Fabinho do that before. Nat Phillips is not expected to be a Liverpool centre half in the Champions League last 16, and he absolutely fucking smashed it.
He was on his way to America to do a scholarship. You know, he wasn't registered in the Champions League squad.
He deserves everything.
But you know what? He's been reminiscent of Cam as you like Virgil van Dijk. He's been a colossus. He really has been. And
unbelievable.
The other night it was his 10th appearance, and I think out maybe 4 or 5 of those he's been man the match. He came into the team in October, home to West Ham, put in a man the match shit performance, and we were all probably a bit right. It's a bit soon. It's his first game. You know what I mean? Let's not take it too serious. Let's not get carried away. It's his first game. It's at Anfield. He's lived up to this moment, and everything's went well from the night. Looking back at that, how good West Ham are physically, how good they are at going forward. Hence why they're ahead of us, and they're on course for top 4. Let's be honest. That was unbelievable. But he just continued. He went away at Brighton at home. It was home to someone else. He got man the match, but he was phenomenal. Yeah. And the other night, he didn't put a foot wrong. And as James said, a shotgun could have been coming at him. He would have headed it way into Rosette. And what I like about him is his attitude, and he does the basics right. His attitude is phenomenal, but the basics right. If it has to go to Rosette, it goes to Rosette. There's nothing playage about it or casual. It's just, if you have to clear lines, clear to keep the simple pass. And he's so commanding and compact, and as I said, reminisce Cam as you like Virgil van Dijk.
I do think he's got better with his feet though, Darren. Like, I would say he's not great, but
he's actually looking. No, Conway, you hit the nail on the head. You hit the nail on the head. Confidence, but also he actually seems to be benefiting off training with the first team. It's like because 100%. He's so experienced with the youth level and playing with the under-23s and whatnot. It's like he's got the experience up here. He knows what he needs to do. He knows what it takes, but he just hasn't been given the chance. And now actually being given the chance to train with the first team and be there consistently, and therefore having a reason, because that can also give you a massive push in any form of job that you're doing ever. If you've got a promotion that's just right there and you only need to do well in your job to get that promotion, and it's very fucking close, then you're going to do everything you can. Nat Phillips has just grabbed it with both hands. And by the way, shout out to everyone in the chat who's saying, let's not get too ahead of ourselves and let's not overhype. Nick, I'll come to you in a sec because I know you want to say something. But basically, all I want to say is we're not overhyping him, saying he's a Virgil van Dijk, or or when Virg comes back, he's going to be the man starting. We're saying this is a player that was supposed to be going to the Championship. He weren't registered for the Champions League squad. Why? Because no one thought he was good enough. That's why he weren't. And the fact he stepped up in a Champions League game, and the fact he stepped up on his Premier League fucking debut or against West Ham a few months ago, had a great performance. It's just a testament to the attitude of the lad. He might never be Liverpool's first choice. I don't think he will. That being said, I'm going to give him the praise that he absolutely deserves right now. Exactly the same as I would if Adrian started yesterday and made 10 world-class saves. He was making world-class interceptions.
You can't take it away from him. You cannot take that away from him, and that's the thing. This is why I don't usually overhype, but for me, you cannot take that away from him. And this has been a delayed reaction for me because I've been calming down. But the guy, like, come on, we'll get into the Kabak thing. But right now, there's only one person I'm giving a contract to out of both of them right now, and it's not even fucking close. I'll tell you that. And I'm not saying Kabak wasn't good, but for me, there's no question right now.
You know what it is with Nat Phillips, right? I just think with him, like you were saying, James, it's the confidence he's gaining off other people, but I think he's intelligent enough to know his faults or know his shortcomings.
Weaknesses,
you know I don't think, I think he's one of them. Those he doesn't try and overdo it, and he does the simple things. Do you know what I mean? Like Conroy's often said, like, don't overcomplicate things, and I see that in Nat Phillips. Do you know what I mean? He knows that I'm a beast in the air, and he puts himself about. But on the ground, he's getting better because he's intelligent, and I think he'll be one of those ones. Because let's be honest, there's plenty of defenders that have not had pace, but Carragher was not a pacey. Do you know what I mean? Especially later on in his career, but he got so intelligent in knowing where to put himself.
Reading the game,
reading the game, and I think you're seeing that in Nat Phillips. And I'm just loving to see that. And like you said, to be very honest with you, we are very honest as a fan base with our team, and I think we have to then take the time to give people the flowers that they deserve, not overhyping them, but just saying that, yo, you know what, like,
he deserves this, guy. He deserves it. He deserves
and more
credit.
and more.
He's walking smarter as well. He's walking a lot smarter. Like, there's a saying that don't walk harder but smarter, and he can do that. His game intelligence is so good.
I do think he's intelligent, Darren. I think you can see he's not like he's
reading of the game.
Try to outmuscle people who are stronger than him.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what he's like that. I think he knows what to do. He's not.
He knows his abilities.
Snobbery is the word. See when sorry, Darren, I'm interrupting you, mate. But see when Callum Wilson done him and Ollie Burke done him, and he didn't foul him, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's embarrassing." For me, it's like, he's already beat him, so not fouling him is a smart thing there, in my opinion, because he's going to give a penalty away. Because sometimes, especially in men's sport, it's this kind of that to talk. What's the word? I forgot the word. Like, you know, the kind of matchness is like, I can't get out muscled, but he just lets him go because he knows that's
it's an ego thing. Sometimes it's an ego thing. It's an ego thing. I'd say I was one of the people. I was like, bruv, this guy's getting 10 grand, like less than Genie. Like, what is this, bro? Hey, brother, you deserve that, bro. You deserve that, rude boy. Yeah. Damn no, trust. Take that with your chest, bro.
Listen, man, like, there's something about Nat Phillips that, like, again, I love these type of things, man. And do you know, even if he goes on to have not a Premier League career, I believe he can. I've saw the qualities he's got on the pitch, and there's just something about it,
Topping up.
Don't you worry, my friend. Hey, in fact, that's a cue for everyone else who may have a drink or whatnot, or who may have just finished the drink. Get a new one. We're having it. Listen, mate. This is why I love this show, mate, because it's chill. We chat shit. We can talk whatever we want. At the end of it, we're going to be answering your questions, so we're going to interact with the chat. And shout out to everyone who's here.
Speaking of chill, James, you know what else it is? The bevies are best served chilled.
My friend Darren, you should be on an advert, my mate.
Sorry,
you should
Darren,
be on an
I
advert.
interrupted you, mate. What were you going to say? Sorry.
I was just saying that you sometimes just have to say it as it is. Like, sometimes we're quick to call out players and give them criticism, and rightly so. But on this, you just have to say it as it is. Nat deserves all the credit he's getting, and I don't think we are getting carried away. I think we're just calling it as it is, saying it as it is. And as I said,
we're just saying so far he's overachieved. He's overachieved.
He's been brilliant. And I'm hoping there is a fairy tale ending for him. You know, if it's not, I think what he's done so far, he'd be pleased with.
You can't take it away from him, mate. You cannot.
Grandkid stories.
You cannot take it away from him. And it's like, on that question, he said it's his first great game, right? Now, that depends your perspective for me, because a defender who's, a 6th, 7th choice defender for Liverpool, playing against West Ham away, right? West Ham at home, right? The game last night, I'd even say Manchester City away. I know he had a few dodgy moments, but it was only 1-1 in that game. To play several games like that, even Brighton, people tried to blame him for the goal. I didn't think it was necessarily his fault. I thought it was unfortunate. For me, going from that to that and actually just being able to perform in those games, for me, that is great, because he's not expected to do that. This is like going to Championship right now. I know we've got Ben Davies and stuff, but this is like, it's not even like he had loads of games in the Championship. He's playing for Stuttgart last year in the 2nd division. I you know what? I don't get overhyped a lot of the time, but this guy deserves all the credit he gets, because you've got too many players who are class already who haven't been performing, and you've got someone who necessarily isn't that talented who is.
You get Upamecano, he said, and you've got all these big signings that join the league, and they've got to take time. Like even Thiago, he's got to take time to adapt. Nat Phillips hasn't been playing Premier League football. Like you've just said, Conroy's been playing 2nd division of German football, my mate, and under 23s football, and he's just came in and he's gone, do you know what, I'm going to use the skills and the attributes that I've got, and I'm going to make it work. And that, to me, mate, that's a player that I love. That's a player that I want wearing my shirt, I'll tell you that for free. And do you know what, someone brought up like a Hippier Carragher comparison before. I'm not going to go too far ahead, but I can understand why they're making such a comparison. Again, bit premature, but I get what they're seeing there.
But he has to trade the commitment and passion as them, doesn't he?
That's all. That's what it is, lad. That's
your
what
point,
it is.
Your point, James, has got me thinking though. See how you're saying he's playing more with the first team and getting more confident. That's not a coincidence. So that's a great point as well, mate. That you can see that's his surrounding and he's getting more comfortable. Like if you play with people, you do genuinely.
If you play with winners, you get better yourself.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not a bit part. I'm actually part of the team. I'm actually needed. And
you can tell he's striving in that. You know, that's a great point. I didn't even think about that.
You can see that he's kind of like a confidence player because he's had a good start and it's been able to maintain. So, maybe we could see the true full potential of Nat Phillips when he makes a mistake and how does he react to that. That's when we can start judging where he is in the league compared to the other centre-backs. For now, though, he's doing very well for us, mate, and I'm very proud of him. Another player... Yeah. Oh, sorry, Darren, did you want to say something?
Yeah, no, sorry, just before we touch on to someone else, James, he also must be thinking in the back of his mind, a January window's passed by where Liverpool supposedly what to do, big business centre-back. They've signed 2 centre-backs, whether they were first choice or not. And he's still now ahead of them. And he must be looking at himself saying, you know what, I have a great claim here to stake a first team now at the end of the season and make some history. Go all the way in Europe.
Yeah, even do you know as you mentioned this, Darren? Do you know as you mentioned this? No, go on.
You know, he'll think of that. He'll be thinking of that, and this is his chance. Well, sorry, James, go ahead.
No, also I was going to say, because you mentioned about like his situation at the club, because there's been a lot of rumours saying he's going to leave at the end of the summer, or we need to sign him on a new contract or whatnot. Apparently that's not true of something that I've saw. People correct me in the chat, but I saw something earlier saying that Nat Phillips, his agent came out and said that he's not actually at the end of contract by the end of the season. Now I hope this is true, because I think it'd be foolish to let him go.
I think
2 years.
I don't think it's the summer.
But again, in the chat, let me know.
Because I've been hearing quite a bit recently over the months that it's his last year on his contract. But then his agent came out this morning in an article and was like, nah, that's not true. So I saw that and I was just thinking, he's right. Hopefully he doesn't leave in the summer because we need that option, and he seems to be happy to be there at the moment. But Fabinho is another player that I've got to talk about, boys. How many weeks now have we been calling? Yeah, like friggin', let's get this man back into midfield. Let's get him back linking up the team. Bro, for weeks I've been saying it's going to give the defenders confidence and it's going to give the freedom to the midfielders in front. What happens? Gini had a great game, Thiago had a great game, Kabak had a great game, and Phillips had a great game. Like, it's no... Oh, and by the way, Fabinho had a great game. Like, mate, it's no coincidence. It's what world-class players do. And in the words of Jürgen Norbert Klopp, that is the best CDM in world football right there. I'm not just spitting bars today, I'm spitting facts. I don't come here to spit bars. So I've been... Where's this smoke been? And it's not just here after one game. It's not just here after one game. But you notice what you miss when a player isn't in a certain position. You're putting the pieces of the jigsaw in the wrong place. It's not going to look right. So now it looks right. Now it looks right. You take the stage, boys. I've said.
Now tell them, Hammers.
For me, fair play to Nat Phillips. Yeah, But Fabinho was my man of the match because he changed the team, and he actually has made me excited for the end of this season. Imagine that.
That's why I'm hyped. Bro, I swear down, me and you just brothers from another, bro. He's just me with a lesser complexion, bro. I'm telling you, bro. Fabinho was that guy, bro. He's who I modelled my whole look at. Like, he looked at me, he came out looking like me. I said, is that Flacco? Oh my days, yes! Nah. Bro, as soon as I saw him in the DM, like, I was just so happy. And like, to be very honest with you, I say shout out Nat Phillips and give people the flowers that they need. Give the fans the flowers that they need. I know, Hammers, you must have had how many people in the comments, how many people saying that, do you know what I mean? I know in my little channel, I've had hella people, everyone. So shout out everyone, do you know what I mean, that we've actually seen this and we called it. And like, boy, he smashed it. Any other player that doesn't play in their number one position, like for some time, you're like, yo, I don't know how it's going to go. Since October, earlier than October, come on, man. Man stepped in, he said, listen, give me the suit, I've got this, went in the booth, changed into Superman, and then just started controlling. Like, it was just the absolute general, like Hammer said, everyone just picked it up a notch, do you know what I mean? He was sitting in front nicely in front of the four, so like, Cabot and Nat Phillips felt like they had that little bit of protection. There was times when he was covering them, then there were times like, boys, you've got this, and was moving forward, even giving Thiago that space to be like he was playing that Goretzka role, bro. Fabinho's that guy, man, and yeah, I'm done, bro. I'm
totally agree, Nick, and well said. Like, he came out in his Hugo Boss suit, didn't he? A size 14s on and says, "I'm back, Champions League, baby." But he was the anchor man. He was the general. He was phenomenal. 10 out of 10. I put him up there with that, and it was no coincidence that Thiago was better, Gini was better, and we were more creative. And everything that came in, he just swept it. It was just, I'll take it up. He was phenomenal, and I love his energy, his intensity, and he set the tempo early, and that's what I love.
He's reading in the game, though, guys. For me, is actually quality. On a par, like, because that for me
was taking balls out of the air.
It's a basketball game sometimes, and then when it's a basketball game, it's hard to maintain control, especially. But because he's not like a wee guy, he's a tall guy, quite lanky. He was just taking balls out the air, slowing it down where he wanted to, speeding up where he wanted to. He can obviously. You know, he can go into the space. Honestly, for me, guys, see the thing you said, James, that's the best part. Fabinho, when he first came to Liverpool, let's not forget, the guy looked out of it, like he could not match the pace, looked like he couldn't keep up with it at all, like badly.
Very true. And you could see even when Jurgen Klopp weren't selecting him, he went. He went.
So he's not played there for that time, and he's came back in now and he smashed it. For me, that's the most impressive thing, because we all know he's class there, but to just go back in. And there's other players, I would say, who've maybe got that quality that they can just step in. But for me, because Fabinho, when he first came to Liverpool, it wasn't an instant connection. It took time. So for me, that's a great point. I think that he's a very good centre-back as well, don't get me wrong. And there is some brilliant DMs out there. I'm not going to sleep on them. But for me, that impact, it kind of makes you wonder. It's a bit like the question is to add, who's Liverpool's most important midfielder? Obviously, Jordan. I'd put Jordan up there. But Fabinho's obviously, especially when you saw Thiago and Gini playing so much better. Even if you had a Jones in there, you get Jones will have a bit more freedom as well. But the guy was.
Guys, am I too much saying that it was Vieira-esque? Like, just that.
No, he was. Do you know what I liked as well? It was the first time he played in that position since October. So to come back and to put on a world-class performance away from home against a quality team, that's not easy, lads. It's not, and we're probably people would say we're overhyping and overrating him, but no, Cam, you like Virgil van Dijk. Yeah, you like that.
Mate. Brilliant. Like, I think now we can really, and the reason why I say he's not only one of the best DMs in world football, he's not only one of the best centre-backs in world football, the reason why I say Fabinho is one of the best players in world football, and I know people won't value my opinion with some of the things I've said before, and that's absolutely fine. But the proof is in the pudding. If you want to talk about trophies, man has got trophies. He joined the club, he won the Champions League and the Premier League. So if you want to talk about that, that's out the way. But if you want to talk about as an individual player, on the ball, terrific. Can pass the ball, can read the game like there's no other way. Yeah. I'm not being funny, mate. Defensively, there's not many better. He can play right back, he can play centre back, and he can play CDM.
Bro,
chat to Fabinho. International, mate, it doesn't even matter.
Did Fabinho win at Monaco as well?
I believe he did. I believe he did win the league.
That's a monumental.
And was an integral part of that, by the way.
Let's not sleep on that as well. We spoke about Mbappe when Monaco was maybe the only league you'd say there.
You've got to mention Fabinho.
Fabinho, but it's crazy because he played it right back sometimes for them as well. And it's like, I don't know, the guy for me is the most adaptable, which is so strange at the start of his career. But listen, I think that comment said the best tempo creating midfielder. Do you know what, guys? I've got to be honest. The difference he's made to the team, he came in 10 minutes against Fulham. You can see that some midfielders just clicks with certain teams, and you can just tell.
Can I just say, Hammers, you remember when shout out the show if you haven't gone to see it, hilarious show. Your show with Carefree Lewis, and he's like, listen, they went and got Bakayoko, and Monaco was sitting there like, what, you don't want?
Yeah.
I was creasing. I was like, yeah, thank you very much. Like, hilarious. So guys, go watch that show.
Monaco who said that. They said they thought they were going in for Fabinho. Is that right? They thought they were going for their best. Mate, there's been some vlogs. That's another video in itself, mate. But
that's another video in itself.
But do you know what? See, last season when Fabinho got injured, I think it was after he scored that goal against Man City. We were all worried. He was out for 2 or 3 months, and he was pivotal in that role. He was world class. But luckily enough, we had someone equally as world class, someone Hendo, to step in. So it just shows them two are like the two of our best 3 midfielders.
No, the pivotal to our side
are unbelievable, and that's how we probably didn't miss Fabinho as much. We got away with it a bit, but when he was out at CDM holding role this season, we vitally missed him. It was huge.
Don't talk about Thiago when he ain't had no Fabinho or Henderson next to him.
That's true. That's
not
true.
The same. It's not the same. He's gone from playing next to Kimmich and these type of players to playing next to Gini Wijnaldum, who's very good, but he's not the one to be. It's not the same. Like when you've got a Fabinho or a Henderson to add that cover, because that's what Thiago's been having to do. He's been having to spray the ball as well as cover. And again, I want to reiterate, Thiago's had some poor games when it comes to passing the ball. He should still do more. He should still do more. But we can at least say that he looked much better and arguably had his best game when Fabinho was in midfield. Another thing that I just want to say on Fabinho, just dead fast, is you can in fact, you know what? It's left me head. What was I going to say? I was going to bring up a great point as well, but it's literally just...
You need to do it now, mate. You can't leave us in
it's gone now. It's gone. But it was just... all I was going to say is, mate, he's fucking quality. You go on there.
Yes, lad.
Got the brain of a goldfish, mate, but we go with it.
Shout out to Monts. He called them Fabulous is back, and I don't think there's a better way to
Fabulous Fabinho. Yeah.
So, that's it, mate.
Don't even chat about
Well, I had a couple of the Saints last season. Rasper for Bravo, Genius from Genie, Fabulous Fabinho, Majestic Mo.
James Milner. How about this one, boys? You know what I mean? Magic Mane. Hey, boys, is there anyone else who we should mention from the game before we move on to the next topic? Is there anyone else that is it? Because obviously, them two deserve a segment in itself. But is there any other players that caught your eye and going forward you're looking forward to seeing?
Sorry, James, can I make a shout out? It's not necessarily performance, but Alisson's save, that's not getting spoke about enough. That is a great save, and he gets
massive to the game.
He went, but people, like, for some reason, Steve McManaman watching it said that it was like that didn't happen. It's like, oh, they've not created anything. I was like, you just had an open goal to aim at that Alisson's just done Superman dive. But
Alisson's too good. People don't realise his positioning is phenomenal. It's only the mistakes that have lowered people's thoughts of Alisson because they don't watch him week in, week out. The reason why Alisson makes saves look easy is because he's just that damn good. You put Pickford in that net. If you're putting Pickford in our net, mate, he's making world-class saves week in, week out, because he has to stretch for each and every one of them. Whereas Alisson, his positioning is undeniable.
Even the long-range shot, he just walked over and caught it, and then we're like,
no, that's what I mean. Like that, no, but how easy, how simple did that look?
The way he does that, boom, and just dead it.
I'm not saying it's a great shot, but he doesn't do the, what's it called, the camera save. He's not really into the camera saves. He just makes it simple. And a few times, even like see Werner a couple of weeks ago, when Werner, now it's a terrible finish, but he tries to lob him. But Alisson's, that's maybe not the best example, but there's been times in games where it's been a point blank header and he's managed to get to a position to catch it, and everyone's like, oh, it's a tame header. But there's at times he's not really like, he doesn't want the camera save. He just his footwork is superb, and Yeah, I just wanted to shout. I thought that save was great, and
and rightly so, because if they score that goal, it can change the complexion of the tie. It's 2-1.
Yeah.
He makes hard saves. No, sorry, Nick. He makes hard saves that don't look that hard. You're spot on, Conroy. They're not unreal for the camera. But if you were to wind back to that save at Anfield, 94th minute against Napoli, the success we went on to win there, and then his Champions League final, man, the match that day, unbelievable. So he's proven to us time and time again his quality, the attributes he has. Phenomenal keeper, and
second best save against Napoli though, Darren. Your man Adrian's got the best save I've ever seen in my life. I'm not even going to argue. That is the best save I've ever seen in my life.
We're not going to spend
where we lose,
guys. That was the best save I've ever seen. I don't care what it is. Unbelievable.
I'd like to shout out Origi. To be very honest with you, and the guy MKH31. I thought Origi had an absolutely outstanding game for someone again who gets very little minutes, who gets very little time to say, come on, do your thing. He came up and can I just say that assist, right? A lot of people, I said this in my review, a lot of top strikers in those positions give the best assist because they know exactly what they're looking for. No faffing about, no Bobby Firmino who's actually a midfielder who's trying to do the extra touch and thank you, James, thank you, I appreciate it. Do you know what I mean?
Keep it up, my bro.
Bro, come on, my G. Just takes it, boom, looks up.
Tell him, man.
I know,
brother. It was an absolute unreal assist.
Trent
you know what? To be fair, I kind of knew something said to me because, I live in Scotland, as you all know, so I've got those 3/4 length coats, and it's a must.
You know what? Get that Parker on. Get that Parker on.
You need that Parker in it. You need that. You need those coats. And when I saw him training in that, I said, "Why is he? He looks like he looked like Blade." I said, "What's going on?" You know what? He's on something. He was just doing the kick ups. I don't know if you saw him. He was just doing the kicks from the long coat. I said, "This guy's on stuff." And he came in and he was
That is so true, mate. That is so true because he was at half time. He was like,
he was at half time. I was like, this guy looks like he's on stuff. He's on stuff. He come through like Blade and done.
He's on heavy stuff.
He's not doing that for 3 minutes.
Origi. That assist was phenomenal.
No, it was
phenomenal. And I wish he was given more of a chance. And do you know what's mad as well? Me and Callum, we were doing the watch along to the game, and we were very split on how Origi done. Yeah. And I'm very surprised that Callum didn't really find it all that convincing. Yeah. Because I thought, even outside the assist, I didn't think he was that bad. And I feel like, and obviously everyone, and do you know what? I feel like Callum is spot on with a lot of the things that he says, but I feel like he expects, and maybe I'm wrong, and he's not here to defend himself, but I feel like it's one of them things where he's expecting them to kind of do things that Origi doesn't really do anyway. And I'm not even talking about the pressing or the running. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about certain ways in the way he moves and the way he thinks and his strategies. He was very good. It's never been Origi, and when you see him in this game, he was just so much better. People will counteract that argument with well, he should do these things, and listen, you're right. But if we're going off what we know this player usually does, mate, he turns up in the big games, and this was a big game, and again he turns up.
Maybe argue he's a moments player, guys, in the sense is if he comes on, he scores or he creates a goal like that, that's maybe his overall game. I'm actually on the fence. I actually didn't think he was bad. I thought he was just decent when he came on, but the assist was superb, and then he had the shot as well. I think the problem is he's maybe his worst enemy at times. He's not good at pressing. He's rubbish at pressing. That's not his game. But Liverpool don't always play his strengths as well. Put him out to the left wing. Guys, he's never a left winger in a million fucking years. He's just a striker. So I don't know if that's his fault, if he's doing that or Klopp's telling him to go there. But you know what, guys? I thought he was good. And a guy who gets 3 minutes at the end of most games when Liverpool are in terrible form, his morale must be on the floor. So to cross a ball like that with the pace, it really was a... See, if Trent done that, you'd be replaying that constantly. It was such a good cross, honestly. Superb. I
just want to start quickly because I've given this guy, and I just want to be very real. A few of my points I still do stand by, but I'm not going to sit here and quote unquote, James knows I haven't, but you know how the YouTube lot will make it seem like I've slandered. Bro, let's not take anything off Mane's finish from that assist, because that was top notch. I've seen many a player sky that.
Right, him.
You know what I mean? Mate, him. Do you know what I mean? And the way he put that through was reminiscent of old Mane. Do you know what I mean? The techers on that. I just wanted to say that because I want to give him his flowers, because do you know what I mean? I've had a lot to say about
his form, he could miss that, to be fair. So that's a fair point.
I wouldn't have I would have been like, oh well, do you know what I mean? So
finish the game.
By the way, boys, just before you carry on, shout out to Ben Harden. We're going to talk about FSG later on in the show. And DJC, thank you very much for being in the stream, my friends. We appreciate you tuning in, and I hope you'll have a good night, my brother. Thank you very much. We appreciate it having you. Sorry, boys. Now you carry on.
Yeah, no, Mane, with the chances he missed in that first half, it was harder than what it looked, I suppose, to get that. But it was great.
All the front three.
All the front three. Yeah. And he is weren't the worst, but the only reason why it's unforgivable for Mane is because he keeps missing these chances.
What is he trying with that header, guys?
I don't know. And that's not me thing. He made it look hard. He made that look like a fucking neck breaker. It didn't have to be that way. It really didn't. And this is what I talk about, confidence. I talk about confidence within a player. You look at Jota, even though he missed that chance, that was a player who believed in himself and oozed a little bit of confidence. I believe I can do something in this game. More than I was shocked when Jota missed. I wasn't shocked. I was shocked. When Mane's one-on-one with the goal now, you're getting that sort of Firmino effect, and you're thinking he's not going to score yet. And I love Mane.
It's hard. The professional footballer with a header from 6 yards, and they're like,
he made it look hard with the way he moved his body.
Yeah,
but this could be the start of him now being rejuvenated. He gets his goal, bit of confidence back, and if he can obviously go to Molineux on Monday and get them chances, you'll be expecting him more now to score.
He's still poor, guys. He looks like he doesn't have any idea what he's doing. His touches off.
His overall play is still just lacking from the Mane that we know him to be. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And it's a bit.
I think we might be papering over cracks to say for me, Darren. I think he will be good. I'm not over the hill. I don't think he's over the hill. I think it'll just be next season for me. I think he'll just.
But my point is, Conroy, is that I don't think he can get any worse. Really, and getting that goal.
Darren, you keep saying this, mate.
Well, that was about the team, but I think with Mane, to be fair, he looked class as permanent and all that, but I think he'll still have a big part to play between now and the end of the season. Like, as I always allude to, his attitude and his availability is great, and he just keeps fighting. And I think as long as he shows that, the chances will come. He just needs to put on his finishing boots and look, if he gets more goals, then I think it will. But look, I'm not going to get carried away with his goal he got to that night, but as we did say, it was a harder chance than what it looked, and the way it's been going for him to that night, it was surprising he took it. So let's see how it goes from.
I just think he'll get dropped now, guys. That's what I think will happen. I think if Jota gets dropped, they'll be fuming. That'll be ridiculous.
I'll be fuming.
Well, I think Firmino was injured, didn't he? So
yeah,
Jota won't get dropped. Mane
will get dropped out of this team. Even Firmino's been awful, but he's not been as bad as Mane. So that's saying something. So again, you need to be ruthless, guys. You get nowhere for being sentimental, and it's like he's just playing so poor. Like, see, when you watch the highlights, you forget how poor that first half. Like,
he's been poor for weeks, though. We can talk about this one game. He's been poor for weeks, and I keep bringing up confidence with Mane, and confidence is a big thing for all players, and even a lot of our players. Like Alisson, 3 years, never made a mistake. This season, bam, makes 3 in a row or whatever it was. Like, it happens. Like, confidence is a real thing, and Mane just hasn't got much of it at the minute. But no, I just want to touch on the FSG. Your thoughts on the reports of FSG going to be back in Liverpool in the summer, boys, because at the end of the day, and we're going to touch on the Wolves game and whatnot in a bit. We're going to do the lineup prediction and all that, and then we're going to answer a few of the people's questions at the end of the show. And I'm going to announce how a few things are changing on the channel. Not drastically, just more content, basically. That being said, so I've been reading reports like there's going to be a big investment. They're going to inject money into the club regardless where we finish. If you ask me on my stance, do I think they're going to do it? No. How much money do I think they're going to spend? Probably what they sell. If they sell anyone. I don't know who they sell. That bit I haven't really figured out. They're letting Genie go for free, so I can't predict what FSG are going to do and whatnot. Because I would have kept Genie no questions asked.
My stance, James, I'm going to be honest with you on FSG, is they came in, it was just over 10 years ago. The club were almost in administration. We 2 Cowboys and Gillette and Hicks in charge of the club. It was great to get rid of them. And they come in, did a bit of stability, structure, did a plan. And that plan and that idea and that target has all been achieved. You know, they brought us the promised land in the Premier League, the Champions League. We've massively competed. Their best signing since they've come into Liverpool is no doubt about it, Jurgen Klopp. You know, we can all agree with that. That's his best. Financially, they've earned, I think it was £553 million 2 seasons ago in revenue for the club, which is huge. So long-term longevity of the club looks really healthy financially, which is great. During COVID times, they're obviously losing out on a lot of money like every other club. So we're not gonna feel as badly affected after COVID as a lot of other clubs will. And I'm talking about a lot of the top 6 clubs with us. They have been ruthless at times, getting rid of Brendan Rodgers after 7 games into a new season where they backed him in the summer, getting rid of Kenny Dalglish, a club legend. And I think that the second behind Kenny was he got the 2 cup finals, won the FA Cup final, narrowly lost it, a League Cup final, which he won. But that wasn't enough for them. They want the pedigree. They want the Premier League, the Champions League, big financial money, big statement. Liverpool back amongst the cream of the crop again. That's what they want. So they made statements. They were cutthroat at times. They had to be. Bringing in Jurgen Klopp October into a season, a lot of people question, well, why did you back Brendan Rodgers? And you give him 100 and something million, he brings in players in 7 games a season, you sack him. It turns out that was the best thing that happened. Hence why we're in the position we're in now. I feel that it's very easy to be critical of owners, particularly when things are not going well. And at the moment, it's not going well. When we signed in the summer, our 3 main players, I felt, replacement fullback, someone up front to challenge the front 3, and a world-class player. Let's not forget about, we all probably would have been happy just bringing in Thiago. There was talk of Thiago coming from Gini. I'd say if you'd done a poll, most Liverpool fans would have taken that. So we have to be careful what we wish for. And the season before that, okay, they didn't spend big money, but we went on and blitzed the Premier League. We got the Holy Grail. We got the one thing that every Liverpool fan wanted. We took stick about what was the only ship that didn't go into Merseyside, the Premiership. You know, this is... We can't be overly critical. The only criticism I would have on FSG is January gone, that they left it so late, left it to the last day, where I think, okay, we couldn't have overseen the 3 main centre-backs injured, but I thought we would have went with someone more experienced and ready-made and probably spent a bit more cash on. But look, time will tell whether that was good or bad. At the moment, it does look like it's a fault. But they're going to make mistakes. They're owners, they're businessmen. We have to understand that they come into Liverpool to make money as well. And they're a lot better. They're probably better, though, obviously a lot better than what we had. But I think I'm not going to say it's early to judge them. I've always been a little bit, at times, 50-50 with FSG. But they've made mistakes. Fan power has won over when you look at increasing the ticket prices and that. So I think overall, I don't be too critical of FSG, but I think this is going to be the biggest test for them is this summer. But what I'll also touch on is this transfer market is going to be the toughest for every club, this one upcoming. And I don't think teams are going to have the money, because let's be honest, James, players' transfer fee is going up, not going down, but clubs are losing out on money. So we have to be very realistic, and I think this could be a huge debate, and also very controversial when it comes to FSG transfers in this summer. Yeah.
No, I hear what you're saying. Like, the thing is, I never dispute they have done good things for the club, and long term, very healthy for the club, and that's all I can ask for. Yes, we can all ask for trophies, but at the end of the day, what would you rather have, a football club or a club that's fucking struggling because they've spent too much money? I get all that. The only thing I will say when it comes to FSG, do you know, like, when it comes to owners and maybe overrating owners, I feel like a lot of fans overrate FSG. And I'm not saying you do, I'm just saying there's fans out there. And even I did for a second as well. And the reason why I feel like we do that is because I understand they've got to make the decision to get Klopp appointed, but again, that was a no-brainer. And I feel like before that, there was not really much sense of positive direction for the club. And I don't mean like they made the new stands and that, boss, like fair play, that's great and all that. That being said, there was other areas of the club that just weren't quite as compact, and it just weren't quite as put together. And to be honest, the faith just weren't quite there with me and FSG. They restored that when we won the Champions League. When they didn't invest properly after that, again, fair enough, because we went on to win the league. We won it by a good amount of points. But when we see that you've got three senior centre-backs into any season is not acceptable. And I don't know if that's Klopp who's made that decision. I couldn't imagine it would have been, because he knows what's the number one complaint Jurgen Klopp has: congestion of fixtures, how close they all are together. So he knows he's going to need at least more than 3 centre-backs, 3 senior centre-backs going into a season. Bear in mind 2 of them are injury prone.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's something from the board where they've gone, nah, mate, you can just have what you've got. We won the league last season. Do you get what I mean? This is another reason as well, by the way, why I worry about Nat Phillips. And I worry about these type of players doing well in the absence of... Yeah. Because even though we can hype them up, and again, rightly so, they deserve it. You know, that's what Nat Phillips and that, you know, when you play them good week in, week out, you deserve praise. But also, you can't be a new signing. Literally every week we're on here joking about how Harvey Elliott's going to be a new signing, Harry Wilson's going to be a new signing, all these players that we've already... Marco Grujic is going to be a new signing. Yeah. I don't like that, because it's fine getting to the promised land because you got the right manager at the right time. And people will say, oh, but that is FSG. No, they've done that because at the time it was Jurgen Klopp or Carlo Ancelotti really, or Frank de Boer. And Carlo Ancelotti would have wanted the most wages out of all of them. Facts. Otherwise, I actually feel like they might have gone for Carlo. Then they've gone with Jurgen. And because Jurgen, you know, he has a great, like, you know, it's match made in heaven and whatnot, it's gone in their favour. If there's no Jurgen, I'm talking about in the future because you can't erase the past. In the future, if there's no Jurgen, I feel like it's a very different club. And I know
100%.
You get what I'm trying to say there without trying to sound too obvious.
I
think Klopp's special though.
think...
Klopp is special. Like there's just he's not doesn't see. It's not like so many people in life. It's all about pound notes and how well you can do and the next level. Whereas Klopp's just different, guys. I mean, James, how many managers call out the fans for leaving too early? Like that doesn't happen in football, guys. The guy will raise his head above the parapet and use that and stick by that. I've said this numerous times on our channels, James. I don't think you're far off at all. For me, we don't get any of this without Klopp. I would argue for anybody. Some things just work out, and for me, there's no other manager in world football who could do it. And the reason that's the proof is, see, after this game, and then if Klopp loses the next 10 games, every Liverpool fan will want him to stay. Not just because of what he's won, but also because with the restrictions at FSG, there is no one in world football who could do as good a job. And you say, is it a fact? No, it is a fact. It's genuinely is. There's no one who could at that level, because that's just because of the personality of Klopp. Klopp could be like, if I don't get 200 million, I'm leaving, and then go to Madrid, go to PSG. Of course he could. But that's because of the person he is. He sees football to embrace the community. That's luck for me. Listen, there's a lot of good things FSG, but Klopp is the predominant factor. He is what's it called in maths when it's called the...
I get what you're trying to say, though. He's the main factor.
I totally understand what you're saying, like, and I agree. I think the only thing what I would say to counter a couple of Darren's points is like FSG. And like Hammer said, FSG aren't a bad. They've done a lot good for us, and they are definitely better than those 2 clowns that we had before.
I know. I feel like when we compare it to them, we're saying like they were good. Like I get it. Like FSG did great things. I really do get it. But bear in mind, they were shithead owners.
They were shit. Yeah, exactly. And I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that. You know what? You have been, because they've been our owners for over a decade. So there's nothing wrong with saying that, listen, you were better than what we had, but in moving forward, I don't know if you're able to get us there, which is pretty much what we're saying, because I'm not sitting there saying that they're bad. But the one thing is, FSG, through history, through the time in which they've owned us, they've never dug their hands in their own pockets. We've had some pretty good windows, like you said, the window prior to Rodgers coming in, the what's it called, Allison. But all of them, if you look at our outgoings, they all covered and then some. We've never been minus, bar 2 seasons. No. Do you know what I mean, or something like that? Which shows you one thing, that they're very good businessmen, and no one ain't gonna say that. Like, they are very good businessmen, but I don't think they know the game, because anyone that does know the game. How many rival fans were saying the way in which Liverpool play, they're going to need reinforcements, because the type of football, we went from heavy metal football, we don't play that anymore, but we still play very intensive football. We were at the forefront of the whole, like, do you know what I mean? Klopp, pressing from the front and running, and the way Mane plays, do you know what I mean?
Rock and roll football.
Mate, if you watch us, you would see that. And I think it's a case of them being so good business minded. They've got that such a good business acumen that they were like, no, you can do it again. Because it's scandalous for us to have the team in which we had after winning the Champions League to go into that, knowing the type of football that we play. To be very honest with you, you could kind of say that the injuries we're now seeing, they're meant to happen. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I hear that point.
Averages they were going to happen.
I hear that.
They're going with it, like they're bar Van Dijk because that was an assault. Yeah. But you saw what I'm saying? Like everything else, like when Henderson broke down, when Milner broke down, I was like, mate, I could see this happening. Like we're all sitting here saying, I don't even want to say the unimaginable, but do you know what I mean? Our fullbacks. When was the last time they sat down? Do you see what I'm saying? And so that's the thing. And
I do,
And let's be honest, I don't see us getting Champions League. And so this summer is going to be a case where it's like, well, we don't really have any other means unless we win the Champions League of bringing in any real money. So it's now going to be one that you're going to have to. Yeah. This is the one. And I don't trust because of that's what it is.
And that's why, Nick, I think this is going to be the big test for them. And sorry, James, just going back what Conroy was saying there while it's on the top of my mind, because I have a brain like a goldfish as well, James. With Jurgen Klopp, 7 seasons, I think it was at Dortmund, wasn't it 6 or 7 seasons, £45 million net spent. Lewandowski, these players, the value of them now. Liverpool so far, he's had just over 100 million net spent. That's 12 years of heavy metal football, integrating that style of football. You look at the last 12 years, the success he's brought, the heavy metal, rock and roll football, that high intensity, the passion, the community he had in Dortmund, Liverpool, to spend about £150 million net spent, that is phenomenal. You get me any other top manager that can do that, but can also go around, smile and say the right things, do the right things, and express himself in the way he does in that Jurgen Klopp father figure, godly
charisma.
That charisma.
It shouldn't be that way anymore, guys, though. It shouldn't be that way because they should look at the Dortmund blueprint and be like, we need to be better than that, and we're not, and that's the thing.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, like, I'm just touching back, alluding to what you said, Conroy.
No, it's a great point,
manager.
I just think that's the issue. That's the issue. We could take that and make it, give them that chance to properly. It's not a rebuild.
We've got a better manager. We've got a better manager than we have owners.
We've got a chance to make it.
Yeah.
We don't have to sell it Bayern Munich. We could. This is acceptable. You can have a season like this, but the thing at Dortmund is it constantly had to sell to buy, sell the best players. And it's like you're so right, mate. See this summer, the problem I have, right, is I think FSG like to hide behind the business. But do you not think sometimes, I think this is what FSG, I've said to James, this is what I think FSG will do, right? I think they will spend money from their own pocket, but they will not do what you think they're going to do. So therefore they can say, well, we said we're going to do this and we've done it. So when you hear a big summer, you think Mbappe, but in their head, they're thinking, we'll buy Kabak. I don't think it'll be Kabak, maybe a Kelleher, and then they'll maybe, get maybe like, they probably should a number 9. No,
you're laughing, but you know it, bro. You're
laughing, but what I'm saying is, they'll do enough so there won't be people fans who all beat FSG out. Do you know what I mean? Because they are smart. Let's not think.
But real fans will know that they stopped just short of what they really could have.
You'd be surprised, mate.
Do you know what I'm scared about? Do you know what I'm scared about? Is that we are so close. You fix when you're at the top, and we are so close to being like a dynasty. Do you know what I mean? Especially having Man City there, we could for the little things. I say little, I get it, but do you know what I mean? It's not like we need a whole new. Like we could be like, bro,
sign a centre back in January. Sign a proper centre back in January. It's a lot of things. It's not 20 million in football. 50 million is not Botman, James. 22 million or whatever. It's not a lot of money. It's not. Just do it.
And early in January, so you can still save those games that we lost in January. Do you know what I mean? Like early, so that we're picking up.
You do that.
It wasn't a lot. It wasn't a lot.
People will be like, FSG, oh, that was good. They were really organised with that, and that's how people work. They'll be like, oh, be behind them because they've not done that. And it's like the Champions League. We win the Champions League, and I get what you're saying, Darren. Like we won that, and then they bought. But then maybe Callum, shout out Coppish, made a really good point. He said, well, what happened is, see this summer here with Jota, Thiago and Tsimikas, that's maybe the money that we should have spent last year. So realistically, we should have 6 players. We should have 6 players in our squad and not 3. So you should never have a right back, a centre back, and then whatever you want, maybe a number 9.
Especially for the money that they got these players for.
Exactly.
They didn't spend 150 million.
Tuver as well, and it's like, You can't tell me you've not made a lot of money, and it's just
it all should have really started after the 2018 final in Kiev. That's where we should have started really becoming strong.
That's what I'm saying. We never built, and people keep bringing Hicks and Gillette, and I get it. I said it earlier. Like, brilliant job what FSG done when they took over. Oh my God, thank you FSG for that, mate. But I'm sorry, if you're not doing the best you can now, I am allowed to call you out on that.
And say, listen, thank you.
Nice one. Appreciate it.
Do you know what I mean?
But if you're just going to get satisfied with top 4, then quite frankly, that's not what I want for what is Liverpool Football Club. Can I remind you, it's Liverpool Football Club, by the way. We're not here for top 4. We're not here for top 4. We're here to win trophies. We're here to be the best club in the country.
Bro, am I mad, Hammers? If I'm mad, yeah? If I'm mad, then tell me it, please, because
I will. I'm fucking crazy, so right. Crazy man, think I like
with a little bit of tweaking. You really, especially considering how bad Man City started the season off. You trying to tell me that retaining was really me thinking that we could possibly retain the title was so ludicrous. Like really.
Didn't you think we were going to win the league?
I totally thought, like, yo, we did. Bro. I thought we could do this. I thought, yo. Like,
oh, no, I thought we could. Oh, no, you're not crazy. I thought we could. Shout out to Alex E, by the way, but just before you carry on, Nick, shout out to Alex E, by the way, big up everyone, happy Friday to all you.
Happy Friday.
Cheers, yeah.
Get down the dark fruits.
Lads, you know what, I'm like, I don't mind me beers, but they're just not usually in the can, lads, so I just get what's there, you know what I'm saying, and we'll go for it. I've got a little fridge right next to me, so I was like, yeah, what's in here?
James, you know the dark fruits kegs, mate, do you know you get the dark fruits kegs, like wee mini kegs? Mate, see in Scotland they've got this shop and it's like they get the deals and stuff. If you like your beers, they do the kegs like that with the beers, but they've got like it's like obscure beers, so they've got like Tiger beer, like Hop House and stuff.
Tiger's
class, mate. Yeah, it's brilliant, mate. 12 quid. He's come down to Scotland. Me and Nick, you can meet up with us. We'll go out in Glasgow.
Mate, we'll take care
you boy the Tiger? You boy the Tiger, Conroy.
Now you're the Tiger.
By the end of 2020, we'll get fucked up. No, listen. I just felt that we were just, bro. I literally felt that. Okay, no one thought that VVD was gonna go, but like, regardless, like Hammers said, I just want owners that know that maybe are interested in the game as they just know that just like listen, we've got two guys that are. Do you know what I mean? We're not gonna buy you an Upamecano. No one's sitting and saying that. But we can get you someone decent earlier on. If we had covered Lovren, bro, we would. Well, I still think we could fucking retain the title. Like, we are so retaining the title is next league. It's next. You're like next dimension. Do you know what I mean? Like, no one can't say shit to you. You know what? I honestly retain the title, and you could give me top 4 for the next 4 years. I don't care, bro. That's how big retaining the title, Hammers, bro. There's only like.
I hear you, man.
You know what I'm saying?
But then the first thing they say is you need to win it 3 times, though, because that's what it's like. People just want to move the goalposts.
I'm just talking about if they retained it, and we were so close. For all of us to sit here and say, no, that's not mad. Look how close we were to that. Yeah. And then you go.
I think the injuries, Nick, though, I think you're right, mate. I think we used all of our luck for 3 years. And I'm not talking about big injuries, but see, like Fabinho, I think that was always going to happen. See, to be honest, even when we beat Sheffield United and West Ham, we got top of the league. I just felt like we were using a lot of, not even luck, but we were using. You know how you need to get poor performances, but just get over the line. Every game was like that in those games, and it just felt like I didn't think we'd drop off this much. But I think for me, injuries were always going to happen. We just. Front threes don't last that long. Like midfield's pressing without getting.
And we've had a long front three already. Like,
would you win the Champions League? Yeah, the Champions League and the Premier League, then have a season like this. I would have bit your hand off, mate. So I don't.
Yeah, even absolutely. Care. Yeah. You have to take some positives.
But I get what Nick's saying though. Little changes is what annoys me about FSG.
Just tweaking.
I'm not asking for Mbappe. I'm asking for just get a good centre half who can step in. Well, and I think James is kind of similar. James is not asking for. We're not ludicrous here. We're not asking for Haaland.
People think I'm asking for Messi, mate. I'm not asking for what Manchester City are getting. I'm asking for just some investment. Do you know what I asked for in the summer? Call me greedy. I asked for Botman. I never even asked for Varane. Yeah. I never asked for Koulibaly. I never asked for any of these world-class centre-backs that I very much certainly could have. With the fact that we have just won the league, with the fact we have just won the Champions fucking League, I could have asked for them players. But no, I'm asking for fucking Sven Botman, because you want me to tell you why?
Million.
25 fucking million. You sold Hoover for 10. You sold Lovren for 10. You sold fucking Brewster for 25 in itself.
25, yeah.
I'm sorry, it's getting to the top. It's getting to the top and thinking, well, it's worked for us for the past few years, so it's going to keep working. It's called being naive, and you can do well in the past. Great, boss, nice one, but keep it up. That's the whole point of a job. You've always got to stay on top of your shit, and FSG just don't seem on top of it, and this is evidence.
Well, that's what was, if you rewind back to when we won the league, to Phil Thompson, Souness, they all says you need to strengthen Weiler on top, and that's something that he would urge Liverpool to do, because obviously they were reviewing the season and how well it went, and they were asking the mad questions of, well, what do you think of next season already, even though he's having a celebration tonight. The night where Chelsea beat City and we won it, they were, we need to buy Weiler on top. You need to strengthen. It's not about going out spend a mad amount of money, but if there's one man that can strengthen Weiler on top and do it a shrewd way, it's going to be Jurgen. Now, I know we brought the 3 signings, but looking back, a centre-half was pivotal.
Saying Alex done it for years. Like that's the thing. You can, even hindsight can tell you so many things, and it's actually not just in hindsight. We were saying in the summer, we need another centre-back, especially when Lovren went. And when Lovren did go, we automatically assumed, well, if he's going, we're getting a new centre-back. But that never ended up happening. And it got overshadowed. Sorry, Nick, one sec. It got overshadowed by Thiago and Jota. Yes, we needed them players. Yes, we needed a versatile winger, but it weren't a priority. Yes, we needed a world-class player, but if anywhere, the least position we needed it was in the midfield.
Yeah, it's his job. You needed that. You needed a winger, but centre mid, I agree, James. I think we got caught up in the hype, mate. I think
we needed a striker and a centre back more than them two.
Especially when the season before, bro. This is what I'm saying. Like the season before, you've seen your biggest rivals have to deal with putting Fernandinho in there as a centre back. You saw that, and many would have said that that's where the beginning of their downfall was. So to see that, and then to have Fabinho do it, I just felt is scandalous. I just that's outrageous. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
Do you know what as well? Even shout out to Jimmy here, who says would love to sign Pulisic for free, because I would adore Pulisic. And do you know what's mad? Do you know what's mad? Even if he was available for free, Liverpool wouldn't get him.
22. This guy honestly could be a world beater. I don't care what anyone says. This guy is ridiculous.
Bear in mind the shirt sales he's going to get you, the fucking kids American.
I get all of that, yeah. But talent-wise, I don't think you're wrong. However, I just do not know if this guy could above.
It's only injuries that concern me.
That's exactly what I was going to say. And his injury record is not great. And we deal with that now. We deal with that now. Like,
but for me, he's not done though. For me, people are so reactionary. It's like, oh, he's done. He's finished the footballer. No, I'm telling you, no, other people, not you, mate. Clip this up. Pulisic, right, will amount to a lot. The guy is ridiculous, right? You say a lot about rival fans, right? He made Van Dijk, Gomez, and Trent look like they were doing schoolboy football. He embarrassed them, right? And he can do that numerous times. The guy is special. I think it's worth taking a chance.
All right. Can I ask you something then? Would you pay 70 million for him?
Well, if it's a free though, I think the way of his contract, Chelsea want to get rid of him.
This is what I was saying. As a free,
no, but I've took the injuries into consideration, Nick. Though, do you know what I mean? As a player, 100%. But what I'm saying is, I think it's for me, there'll be people saying, "Corner, you're talking rubbish," because it's not worth the risk. For me, he is worth the risk.
Sorry, boys, I'll be back in 1 sec. You carry on.
Mate. I hear what you're saying, Nick. I just honestly, mate, I think this. My friend's American as well, so he mentioned on like Dortmund, like he's even 20 million, mate. Even 20 million or 10 million, like it's worth a risk. Like he's only 22. I get the injuries, but I just think he's special.
He's not only that, but I think the what he would bring as well, the attributes is and the experience is work with Jurgen Klopp. And if any man just going to get that bit more out, which I think he's potentially the world class. I agree, Conway. Obviously, it's a concern with the injuries. It would be him. So I'd be excited by that potential. I think he's definitely worth a bit of a fee, but Chelsea be mad to get rid of him. Crazy.
It is a debate, though. I understand.
Yeah, I agree
I'm
with
not
that.
in the right corner. I do get that, but I strongly feel that Liverpool don't really get players of that ilk. Like, that's not true. Like, but we usually get good and make them great. But for me, we saw the Thiago, that doesn't always work. But for me, he's special. Like, he's very good, guys. Like, I don't even think we've seen the best of him. Like, he can do things.
He's ready-made, isn't he?
Guys, I think if you can get him fit, he could be a world beater, Nick. I really do, mate. I think it's
no. I agree. I don't even think he's getting like. I think he's up there now. It's just I just don't know in terms of his injuries if there is a getting him fit. You know, like they're just players that are just
injuries. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, that's why I'm like,
more. But I might be getting a bit gassed, but genuinely, as a player though,
no, you're right. No, Conway, you're right. No, even what he done to us, he's done it to us. So like, I get what you're saying. Like, don't get it twisted.
See that goal, that assist to Abraham. Though, remember when he took Trent and Gomez, and then he made the pass to Abraham. I was like, oh, I'm maybe getting too gas. But see, when you're playing against that team and you're frightened, that's when you know a player's top. I always feel that way.
I wanted to touch on something that one of the comments has said. Shout out everyone that's in the comments. Appreciate it, guys.
Shout out to Finn, mate.
Yeah, shout out to Finn, man. Tony Kelly said, "What's you guys' thoughts on the new league kit? I don't know if any of you guys seen it. Did you manage to? Have you? I
did see it. I think it'll look a lot different in person. Like the footy headlines are normally a reliable source and they're normally accurate and spot on with what they release, but it's something different. I wouldn't say I'm mad about it. It did look. I got a sent WhatsApp. Conroy would have seen it as well, where it did look a lot nicer on Virgil van Dijk. You know what I mean?
Most things do, though, mate. Most things do.
Exactly. There's a couple of them in our team that need to wear it to make it. You know what I mean?
I don't know until I see it in person. The last one I wasn't mad about, and then when I seen it in person, I bought it. I thought, yeah, it's lovely. It's a cracker. It was reminiscent to the 93, 94 with the tail in it and that. But I don't know. I haven't
changed it much, do they? They play it safe every year.
No, but they play it safe.
I was going to say that. It does look a bit... It looks like a knockoff New Balance one that we've seen before, kind of thing.
Who's like New Balance? I thought New Balance.
I love New Balance. I thought they did one of some of the best tops.
They look. Well, here's New Balance now.
Sometimes New Balance. I think
this is nice.
I thought they were spot on.
I wore this to work today, and a non-football fan says to me, "I like your top. That's lovely." And we're coming over touching it. This is 2 years old, so New Balance, big shout out. Although no one heard New Balance.
They're coming back. New Balance.
Even their what's it called? They were very like out of the box. The training kits, their away kits, the line,
the goalkeeper kit, the black
and gold. Mate, that should have been our away kit. That was ridiculous.
No, New Balance were quality. Like New Balance were good. Like people sleep on them. I quite like their football top. I think it's quite good.
The only thing was, and I don't know about you, being in Ireland as well. But I don't. You used to what's it called? Get out of stock quite quickly on them. That was the only thing.
Yeah. Well, the only thing,
their wickets. Yeah.
Well, Nike is so big. Obviously, it's global. But apparently, when we had New Balance, there was people in certain parts of the world that couldn't get it, so they had to order it online. Then it cost a big shipping fee and that, so it cost them a lot more money. But with Nike now, it's more globally. Then you have Drake, you have LeBron James that come out sponsoring it. LeBron James posted an Instagram picture coming out in the Liverpool jersey at the start. So that, like, alone, like, I mean, Nike is huge, and that's being a huge sponsor going forward. Like, it was involved in the High Court, and that wasn't with New Balance. So it's good, I suppose, to get such a huge sponsor, and it was a big statement at the win the league getting them. But
let's
we all
honest,
have
guys.
finance.
It's down to money. Like, let's be honest.
Absolutely,
it's a strip as long as it resembles the team we love, and if the away ones got a bit about it, then let's be honest. It's like, I don't want to see nice stuff this year. I prefer the ones I like. I'd order one I like instead of like the current one, if you know what I mean. So say like, I don't know, this is going to sound weird, mate, but you know what one I absolutely love? Do you remember with 13-14 season, the white that had like it looked like the kind of gaming thing, like the pixelated thing. I loved that. Folk hated that. I thought it was cool as anything.
I wasn't really big on that. I'm not going to lie.
No, mate, listen, it was a weird shout, but I loved it. And was it last year's one? No, was it last year before? Year before, when we beat Palace away 2-0, first game of the season with the grey one.
Yeah, lovely. I like that one. The light grey. Mane scored that game.
That's the Mane and Salah.
And it was roasting that night as well, so it was like it looked good.
There's one.
I remember that game well, actually, because I was engaged that day. So.
Oh, congratulations!
Congratulations, mate.
Vic, it was in Barcelona as well, so I remember that game well. The grade. I think I brought that with me. I think I bought it. So, Jays, it's just a bit of sprung to the mind there. So if anyone's in the comments, they can throw in a congratulations as well.
Congratulations, mate. Of
Fair,
course.
mate.
Yeah.
Sorry I can't bring up the chat, but there's one I wanted to pick up from Reece Knox. And he says this would be a good summer. Sell Origi, Grujic, Wilson, Ojo, Karius, and maybe Ox, and buy a Milan or Neto and a Tielemans as a Wijnaldum replacement, and maybe an attacking midfielder like Aouar. I know probably that James would like that, so I picked up on that. I wanted to see what you lot thought on that. What's your thoughts on that?
Don't think you're getting enough for all of them. Like, if you think OR's probably, I don't know his contract situation, so that I don't want to be ignorant.
So I don't know if he's saying a Milan or Neto. And the
With all of a Neto.
I'd say Neto. I'd say Neto.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're all in agreement. What would we say Neto would have cost? What do you say?
I think about 60, mate, because he's 19. So you're not going to get him for 40. He's 19. I'd say 60 now.
And after that Jota deal, they're going to try and fleece.
Can't take the piss. You can't take the piss. You know what I mean? You can't burn your bridges as well. You can't burn your bridges. If you come in with a low ball offer.
So 60, I don't know about a Tielemans personally, but I mean, it's not a bad shout. Let's just say in a while. What were we saying? What was he, 50?
Well, I don't know what his contract situation is. I don't know if that's changed because for some reason people are touting smaller figures than the one in the summer with Arsenal. But again, possibly. But I think you might sell all the players and get one of those signings, maybe a Neto.
Yeah.
Or see a Tielemans. I think a Tielemans cost you 60 mil as well. Why are Leicester signing them for 40 mil? Why are they going to sell them for any cheaper?
That's why I wouldn't get a Tielemans. I think for what you'd have to pay Leicester.
You can do better for the price.
And see, shout out to Matt Coppish, but he says he's noticed that. See, after 60 minutes, Tielemans might be
he's gone. He's on his back. So he's on his back. Yeah.
I think he's a top player. I think he's a top player, though.
You've seen him against doors after the hour.
He'd need a year to get used to this system. Never mind a couple of games. He'd need a year.
Probably put 2 years on him. Yeah.
Yeah. But Neto for me. That would make sense. Neto's the one. But then
what are we saying? Sorry.
I'm sorry. Don't be silly. I just was just going through some of the comments. I was
He's right.
You know,
that's what we like.
And I was just picking up Reece Knox's comment. I couldn't bring it up, but he was saying this would be a good summer. Sell Origi, Grujic, Wilson, Ojo, Karius, and maybe Ox, and buy Milan or Neto. I heard Neto. I know what you and Callum are like, so I was like, I'll pick up.
I'd love a Neto. Listen, mate. You can say what you want about the charity shop Neto, but when you're talking about this Neto, I'll take that Neto, my friend.
I knew it.
I'll tell you that for free.
I picked it up, and I thought he'd be all over.
No, I agree.
We were talking about New Balance, Nike, James, engagements. It all went on there.
Love it. Oh my God, love it. I heard something about a leak kit at the start, but I haven't saw it yet, so I'm actually going to have a look now. This is going to be my live, man.
James, I'll send
you. 2 seconds, I'll pick up another bevy. Like, this is not great.
Nah, that's sweet. Don't worry about it, bro. You do what you need to do. Let me have a look. So you've sent it into the chat?
No, I'll send it now. That's it sent now, mate.
Oh, yeah, people. You're going to get my live reaction to next season's... Ooh.
That's Van Dijk, remember, though. That's Van Dijk.
Yeah,
Van
looks
Dijk
nice and Virgil. And he be drowned in 1 million as well.
No. I don't know if I'm a fan. No, I don't know if I'm a fan, is what I'm saying.
I was going to say, I told you, it looks like a New Balance knockoff, innit?
But you know what?
I
think it might be a bit of an exaggeration. Normally, footy headlines are said are accurate when they bring out a jersey, but it's always...
Why are people saying congrats, Darren? Why are people saying congrats, Darren?
He got engaged 2 years ago.
I can't get
Darren! Get the congratulations in the chat, guys.
I was celebrating on the proper 12.
I'll show it on the screen. It will focus. That's what they're saying the new kit is, people, for next season, the league kit. And let me know what you think about that. You've got the red sort of things here on the sleeves. I don't know if I'm a fan.
It's like a light pink on the sleeve, isn't it?
These why are these why are they so far apart? Is this just me? Am I just being negative? Will I need to look at it in person? Is it one of them ones? Is it one of them where I just need a bit more time to grow to it? Because I don't know if I'm a fan.
Very Pro Evo, that kit. Remember Pro Evo? You design the strips and you'd have like cool styles. It's very much Pro Evo. Do you know what? I think that'd be a cool away kit. See the stripes? I think that'd be cool in a away kit, but I don't know if I like it in the home
if you change the kit black, I suppose, it'd look better.
I'd love a black kit this season. I remember the black kit we did a couple of seasons ago, the collar. The New Balance.
Darren, we've reminisced enough about kits. We spoke
do you know what? Before we do move on then to the... Because I want to just end this stream with the Wolves game, and then we're going to answer just a few questions. I wanted to mention 0809 kits. They were winners. Am I the only one who thinks that?
Yeah, mate, that was a good kit. I had that. I had the Gerrard on the back. That was a class kit.
The grey kit that season was unbelievable.
Yes,
we were talking about the one a couple of years ago.
Won at Old Trafford.
It was similar. The New Balance grey one, it was kind of similar. That was cool as well with the kind of
Yeah.
That was cool as well.
We've had some nice goalkeeper kits over the time as well, to be fair to us.
New Balance were good, mate. I like New Balance. Said that
in hindsight, I mean, the 125 years kit. Oh,
I liked that. I had a nice tracksuit top of that.
No, I liked it. I really liked it. I don't know, maybe I'm overrating it, but I really enjoyed that kit.
New Balance were the nuts, mate. New Balance
Well,
do you remember do you know, it wasn't even like that nice a kit, but do you remember when we beat Stoke and West Ham? So we beat Stoke 3-0 and West Ham 4-0, and it was at the orange kit, the kind of bright orange.
Like a Dutch.
I think I know what you're on about. Yeah. Lalan. Oh, yeah. I was a bit iffy on that kit, I'm not going to lie.
I didn't get it,
When it first dropped, it's got me on eBay now trying to get it. I'm not going to lie. Now I'm like,
no, it was more about just, we performed very good in that kit. Like, we smashed teams in that kit.
Didn't we smash, like, Maribor, like, 7-0 in that kit, and we beat, like, other teams and whatnot?
West Ham, Stoke 3-0, Manny Salah, overload,
And you know what?
Go on.
Just, you know that New Balance, it also made you had that real freak physique look, didn't you? Have one session in the gym, then you put it on.
Yeah.
And this is unreal. Look at the muscles on me. I'm able to flex the pecs.
It hugged nicely.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to lie, man. New Balance was nice.
That was proper freak.
And you know what it was?
Material.
You know what? I don't know if it's you. I don't know if it's me, sorry. But I felt like New Balance, because they were a smaller company, like I felt like someone had really like gone in there and like looked and been like, you know,
it was special to them. It was special to them.
Like we're gonna, whereas like it's a bit like we're just, you know what I mean, banging it out now. So
kind of is
bring back New Balance. We're going to boycott the stadium. Bring back New Balance.
When we were just bossing everything, bruv.
It's a $100 million deal and fuck off, right?
New Balance, Buvac, bring them all back.
I know, mate. Seriously. That was some kit. That was
quality. But boys, let's get into the Wolves preview. We'll just do our starting 11. We'll come to a unanimous decision, and then we'll take a few questions from the chat. People, get any questions that you may have in. To be fair, I might have to ask you again, because we are going to go through a whole starting 11 here, which means there's probably going to be a lot of comments in between. That being said, still get your questions in. And yeah, boys, like last week, or like the last episode, should I say, we'll just try and come to a unanimous decision of what we want to see come up, what lineup we want to see come up against Wolves, and what we think will line up against Wolves. Okay?
What did you say? What, same lineup as the other day? Yeah. Let's go for that. Cool.
James, on that. I want to see two changes, and I'm going to tell you where I want to see two changes. I want to see the exact.
Start with like the defence. And
we'll go. And we'll go our way.
Well, I'm happy enough to kind of jump above that, and I only want two changes from John Knight, and I'll tell you why now. I want to see Tsimikas come in with Robbo, and I know that's a wild shout, and I'll tell you why, because he's 3 huge games coming up now for Scotland. He's had a huge intense season. Hasn't been rested, and I do fear with Robbo and with Genie particularly, they're the two I would take out, bring in Jones and Tsimikas. First of all, Tsimikas is highly rated. It really, I wouldn't say like for like Robbo, he's not as ready made as him yet. He probably would have been if he had more game time, but he's high potential. Like, if we're saying we're not going to get top four now, and if we're saying the league is probably just trying to get a bit of pride in it, and let's obviously we want to get wins, and we're very good away from home, more so than at Anfield this season. We seem to score, so that's a start. I would just say, and I'll be a bit controversial with it, bring in Tsimikas for Robbo. Robbo's had a long season. Just see how Tsimikas gets on. We're going to have to give him a try. We're going to have to give him starts. No point just bringing them on, because that's very hard as a fullback to really make any analysis of them if they're coming on in games. And I think Curtis, we all approve of, really good player. The stats are when he starts, we get more goals, win more games. Genie's had again another long season. He's going to be heavily involved with Holland now in the international. They've 3 huge games coming up, and we know he's going to play for them and probably score, because he always does. So I'm happy to just leave it as a wash, John. I was happy with it. Maybe bring in Jones and bring in.
Are the players going on international duty?
Yes, and they've 3 games: World Cup, qualifying, group stage. So
jokes. So absolute joke.
Yeah.
Team, man.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
So that's the only reason why.
COVID, but
fair play. We'll go through the lineup and what we'll think we'll see. Then we'll go through what we'll think we'll see, and then as we go through, we'll do what we want to see. Sweet. Go ahead, Sweet. In goal, Alisson, same formation, really. Alisson, in goal, Alisson. Left back. Okay, so as Darren's just mentioned, it'd just be Robbo when we skip on to the next one. But now, what approach do we take to the league?
Funny you said that, I'm not just saying that. I was actually going to put that as well. So it's funny. It's not so like. I don't think it's so like.
I disagree. Disagree massively. I don't listen. Go on, Nick. You go first, and then I'll say.
Do you know what it is? Like, do you know what it is? Right. The fact of the matter is, it's just one of those ones where I'm just trying to preempt. Like I said, I wasn't that surprised when Henderson dropped. Wasn't that surprised when Milner dropped before him. And there's a couple of places I'm looking now and I'm like, mate, these guys are getting run into the ground. Like we've got the games that are coming up are Arsenal, we've got Arsenal, we've got games coming up. So I'm just like, when do you let them have the, and then now hearing that, oh, actually, I didn't even know it was then. I'm like, oh, wow, he has actually got 3 international games. I'm probably even more down that line. Like, listen, like, let him do it. But go on, Hammers, you counter.
I would still start Robbo because, to be fair, I haven't really put too much thought of the international break into this thought, even though I probably should. Robbo's going to play for Scotland. That being said, I'm still going to go with Robbo over Tsimikas. Wolves are a good team, man, and we need to make sure that we have our best players out there. And even though Tsimikas has shown good signs, I can't say I've seen enough to warrant a start in what is a big game. And it's not even Traore that I'm worried about. It's mostly just the fact that, like, at the end of the day, Robbo offers a lot more than just the defensive aspect of things. He's very good at going forward. He's very good at helping the midfielders, giving the midfielders an option, should I say. And I just feel like it's one of them things where we'll miss him if he's not starting. And even though I don't think we'll get top 4. I don't think we'll get top 6. But at the end of the day, you've still got to fight for every single 3 points that you can. And when you put it into context, we haven't got it. Liverpool, we haven't got a game for 3 weeks. At the end of the day, whoever's fit, I think you start your best players type of thing, and one of them would be being Robertson for me. But Conroy's the deciding factor.
Well, on that, I think you both make really good points. And to be honest, Darren, I think what you're saying about Tsimikas logically does make a lot of sense, especially with Robbo. But for me, Robbo's a bit of an enigma. We've said this numerous times before games, like, you should drop him. And he starts so often. I think there's maybe only 1 or 2 times that he's actually not played him. I think you and Nick, it's fair points, but I'm going to agree with James. The reason is I don't think Klopp, if he can play Robbo, he'll always play him. And I think, to be perfectly honest, guys, we've been like what's the word now? We've been so up and down. It's good performance and a loss. So maybe before an international break, it would be good just to keep the consistency with the performances. And I know you might think, Connor, what you're saying, because international break, that could go. But if we lose again, that just, to me, if you look at that in a grand scheme of things, it's like good performance, shite, good performance, shite, good performance. The consistency goes. Whereas even, I'm not saying necessarily win the game, but if we draw, get a good solid performance, it's not about where we finish in the league. But guys, it's not like a tap. We can't just switch it off and on in the Champions League. So I appreciate both points, and I actually think Nick and Darren, it's a very logical approach, and it might happen. I just think if Robbo's fit, he plays him. Robbo, for me, we never mention it because we've got Henderson and we've got like Van Dijk in the past, but I guarantee Robbo will be one of the first names on that team sheet every game, especially in this season, 100%. So that's like his. You got to remember as well, like Robbo's not had many bad games, but maybe the one he did have was against Traore. But Robbo defensively has been quite solid this season. He's not been as good as he usually is. Attack, he's been okay, but defensively, he's good. So for me, I don't think you can shove Tsimikas in as well in that game. Traore's not been on fire this season, but I just
the last time Tsimikas came up against Traore was last season in the Europa League, and I thought he was brilliant. And it was at the time we had a bid rejected for. For Jamal, for Jamal Lewis, and I thought, like, I'd say Jamal Lewis now be straight in the phone to his agent because they had rejected a bid from us. Was it Norwich he was at, wasn't it? And
he's bang average anyway.
I was looking at Tsimikas and I was saying they'll be shook a win by Tsimikas because was talking he's going to leave, and then within a day or two later he'd signed, and I was like, I just got a good one on that because of a good sense. This Tsimikas lad is good.
English price though. Jamal Lewis,
average. Tsimikas is more made than him in experience. It is a good. I do agree with you, Conroy, too.
Do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised either way, guys. I think either way it could happen. I just think there's so many times in other games where like he's definitely starting Robbo and he starts him. So I just think Klopp will start him.
Yeah. I agree. He's been one of his more reliable servants in that aspect. Who are we going to go with? Chat, help us out here. Help us out. Robertson or Shimakash, who do you think Klopp will start? Obviously, you can say who you want, but who do you think Klopp will go with? Let us know in the chat. Right back. I want to say this is a hard one, but I don't think it is. I feel like it is, Trent. And I feel like that's unanimous.
Yep.
Especially if you go with the Shimakash approach. Nico's just played a game type of thing. And Trent, to be fair, doesn't play every game for England. He's not needed in that aspect. So when you think of it like that,
hopefully they'll go Reece James. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
They will.
Not going to be thinking about, is he? He's not going to think about international break. And I'm not saying he's an ignorant manager, but at the end of the day, I don't think international teams think about him when it comes to the clubs.
Of course.
Robbo's might be slightly different in the sense of, right, I think he knows, like, Scotland's a captain, same with Gini, like, he will take it in consideration because maybe those clubs have not, like, they've not went there and came back into
just not to bite his nose to spite his face. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It might be in his, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
good point. Where England have done it a few times and the players have been injured. I don't think it's as bad with other countries because there's maybe been a bit of good liaison there with the players and the international managers, where England just, I think Gomez, is it 3 times he's been injured, or is it twice?
Something crazy, something mad. So, like, that's the thing, I'm still worried regardless who it is that goes on international break, but, you know, Trent, he, at least in a game, we know it's not as likely as he's not going to play all the 2 or 3 fixtures that England have scheduled, so...
Just more comment there. How would you ever feel? Obviously, we spoke about this the other day about Trent and Curtis, but you know, you kind of like the Scottish Scouser you say about Robbo. A lot of fans I've noticed recently want him to be captain, and I know that's not how Klopp works with the time there, but there's a few performances I feel like because for me, captains have to be vocal. There's exceptions like Gerrard who's not sure, but for me, when a team's struggling on a plate, you need a vocal captain. I just wanted to get all the guys' take on that. Would you ever consider that Robbo might be in contention, especially if Gini leaves, of being the kind of vice captain or the third in the running?
Absolutely,
for
yeah. I wouldn't be hesitant on that.
And I'm alright with that. I wouldn't have no arguments.
100%. I think Robbo's been consistently probably our best player this season.
I think when Henderson leaves, if Robbo's still here, he will be captain.
Yeah. And he just gets it, doesn't he? He knows what it means to the fans, what the club is. He gets it, and you even see him in interviews. Liverpool have a very good affiliation with Scottish players, as we all know.
He's not scared. He's not scared to call out. I've seen him scream at Van Dijk as well, and that takes a lot. And
doesn't give a fuck.
He's got good media. He's got good media as well. He does a lot of media stuff. To be fair, so I think
he comes out a lot for us.
Get to where he's got for being a yes man. Do you know what I mean? He has to just like scream at players. Like, he has to be.
Yeah.
So, Robbo, Trent, centre-backs, this is where it gets interesting. I think he's going to go the same. I think Kabak and Phillips.
Yeah, you have to.
I hope he does.
I think the problem for us this season is we've had something like 20 different centre-back pairings. We need to kind of have some
we know.
There.
At least we've got one. At least now, like, even though it might not be the greatest, might not be Gomez and Van Dijk, something.
And I think if we've any chance of wanting to progress forward and past the quarters Champions League, you need some connection there to centre backs, because that's like the most I think we played this season was Hendo and Kabak, and that was for 2.5 games. Like, that's mental. Do you know what I mean? It's just you need a spine there. You need
Ben Davies is fit though.
Communication.
I think he'll just go on the bench though.
Ben Davies, they found the back. They found the cardboard back to him now. Is that what it is? He's standing up now.
He comes on. He comes on, scores the winner.
He's not fooling around all round. Okay.
Yeah.
He really exists now. He does. Yeah.
Okay. Say nothing.
Mate. Ben Davies is not going to play this game. I can tell you that.
Not real.
If anyone had the choice, just briefly, yes or no, would you start him? Or are we all going with Nat? Yeah. Phillips has earned that respect.
There's games you do try Ben Davies, but I've always been against Wolves away. Nah, not for me. Just stick to what you know. It worked well. Why change it?
Agree. Facts. CDM, Fabinho.
Yeah, fabulous.
Number 6. Yeah. Sweet. Centre mids.
Interesting for me.
Right. So, a lot of people would say Curtis and Thiago, I feel, because you want to rest Gini. Thiago's just has a great game. You want that to keep going.
Jones has been the only good player for the past 6
Curtis
games.
Jones is undroppable. That's what we've been saying through this shift form. He's the only one who's offered anything. He didn't play the other night, but then you've got a little certain someone called man like Naby Keita who comes into the mix. Now the reason why I bring man like Naby La, man like Naby La, man like Naby La, mate, Naby La shit. Them videos of him just going Naby lad, Naby lad. Just quality. He brings a lot to the table when it comes to this fixture, and I don't know if he comes off the bench and he gets maybe 20 minutes instead of these little 5-minute cameos he's been getting, or if he gets a full game. All I'm saying, he asks questions in that midfield now, and I'm glad that he does, because we need them questions. We need the manager to finally have options, and now he's got them.
Well, this is also kind of the last chance. I think we probably all agree with this for Naby. So if we're not going to see a lot of him between now and the end of the season, how do we then decide, well, do we keep him in the summer, do we sell him? Because if we're ever going to sell him, it has to be now in terms of the transfer value and what you get from him, because that'd still be high. But if he's going to get injured next season, there's going to be more problems. He becomes problematic. That decreases massively. So it's a good question, James. It's really, really interesting. I think you could talk a lot on this, but for me, if it's a last chance for Naby, you would imagine in games where we probably feel we're not going to get top 4, this is a chance to play him and prove his worth. But then you've also Curtis there waiting. He's been phenomenal. Thiago, there's options now again, and when we have these options, it's a good dilemma. But
what's your midfield?
Mine would be Fabinho, Thiago and Jones personally, but
that'd be mine.
All of this flashy, lovely Irish tones, and then you leave him out anyway. See what I mean? Irish love.
He's getting left
behind bench. Absolutely killing with words, bruv.
I think he'll play Keita though. I think he'll play Keita. I can see him playing Keita.
That's my midfield, bruv. Fab, Flacco, Curtis and Keita, and I'd like to maybe, do you know what I mean? Maybe not the full game. I don't know if he's got the legs for it, but I want to see him start. I want to see him, do you know what I mean? Do something.
I think it'll be Thiago and Keita. I think it'll be Fab, Thiago, Keita. I would play Jones, but I think Klopp will play.
I think might be right, actually. Yeah, I think might be right.
Yeah. Well, the fact that Keita played the night and Jones didn't might indicate he's gonna start getting more game time. But
Jones has proved himself, and other players.
He's undroppable.
So who are we saying then? So we're saying.
I think Curtis is better than Naby.
I go with Curtis.
I'd say he's been more effective, definitely, James, in the sense is maybe got Naby, who looks obviously technically much better.
I think he's technically a much better. No, I don't know. I think he's technically probably better than Naby.
I think maybe more established in that sense, James. I mean,
established. Oh yeah, Curtis doesn't. I'm talking about on the ball.
But you know what? You're right to stick up for him, James, because at the end of the day, other players have been playing poor, and he stepped up. And I spoke about the Sheffield United game. It's like he's stepping up, and it's like.
Naby doesn't even get on the plane. It's just
I can see him play Naby in this game though, James, just because of, as Darren said, agree. This would probably suit him. I could see him playing, and we'll see against like.
If he feels like that would suit best, then fair enough. Then he'd have to go with that.
And but they play a lot of balls on the wing as well. With their wingers, they play balls down the wing, so like there will be space in the middle for him. This is the type of game that I would like to see.
And Naby loves a bit.
Yeah, good point.
So what's our midfield? What's our conclusion? What's the unanimous decision?
That's what I was thinking. I know.
So Fab's defo. It sounds like So I'm asking Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp's gonna do. Jurgen Klopp's gonna do. Fabinho CDM.
Yeah.
Go on. What was that?
What Fab?
No, I was just going to say. I think
he'll play Thiago. I can't see him dropping Thiago because he's not got a Champions League.
Do you think Keita's defo going to play? Do you think he's? I think Keita's
will play. Feeling, James. I've just got a feeling.
I think Jurgen will.
Stick him in. I feel like he's been prepping for this game.
And I'm not even saying. I'd like to see.
We'll get it on the group chat and be like, "Hey, whoever's right,
whoever gets
right." Front three. Front three.
Same as midweek.
I'd put Firmino over Mane for me. Firmino's back.
Who would you put over Mane?
Well, I think Firmino's still injured, is he?
He's still
injured, I believe.
There's talk of him still, yeah.
Right, well, then it's got to be them. Sorry, guys. I wasn't sure if he's maybe back.
No, Origi.
If it's up to me, little curveball.
Start
Origi.
For Mane.
He's not going to start Origi.
No, he won't.
This is why I asked you what because I want that all day, but I think he won't.
On performance, but again, you know what he's like. He doesn't do that. Origi just doesn't press the way he wants to press, and it's as simple as that. And I think I don't think they dislike each other, but you can just tell that that's not Origi's game and it's never going to be. By the way, guys, remember Origi was bigged up and was it the World Cup or the Euros, and he was like,
yeah, like Belgium games.
The World Cup that was 2014. He was okay,
but what I mean is that's him, isn't it? He's just a finisher and he's good at that. And do you know what?
Big moments.
Bizzo, shout out to Bizzo, he'll argue, he thinks, look at his stats at Wolfsburg and all that. See, for me, I think he will find a spot for him because he's young enough, and I think he'll be quite. He's never going to be a 30-goal a season striker, but I think he could be like a 10 to 15 every season for me, and I think he'll find that somewhere. But it's not going to be at Liverpool; it just doesn't work.
And the thing is, a 10 to 15 goal striker is not. It's not. People say it like it's like, bro, if
you go down the shop, get him off the street. There he is.
Yeah,
mate, just pick him out. They're just round the corner, mate.
It's like the time we had Alex on this. We quickened up down the street.
Guys, it's not funny. This is a thing. People actually say on the chat earlier. I'm not even joking, Nick. I said to James, right? Someone said, it's Conroy, aka Alex. I'm not even joking.
For the people who don't know the backstory behind that.
We were on 109 Conroy, and I forgot to say to you, it flashed up in the commentary real quick. It might have been Welford, so a man like Welford. Conroy, great shout out, aka Alex or LOL Alex, and I just honestly, missed that one.
It's this class community.
It's a bit of a trend now.
It's getting to the point now where it's like, it's well done, Alex, well done, Conroy.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
It's when that nosy bastard top left flipping.
I know. No.
Do you know what it was? Yeah, do you know what it was? Like, for the people who don't know the backstory, me and we done our first live stream of this. Was it last week? Was it this time last week?
I'm not sure.
Like when it was all four of us. Yeah. I'm not sure. Either way, we've done like 3 episodes. The first episode, if you haven't saw the first episode, just go and check it out. I wish I could say the minute that it was. I think it was about an hour and 2 minutes going to the first episode that we done. An hour and 2 minutes into the thing, yeah. And oh my goodness, it's the funniest thing ever. I call Conroy Alex, and it's only because even at the start of the stream, watch the start of the stream and you'll see that I called him Conroy at the start. But then someone in the chat said going on Alex, and there was no one in the chat that was called Alex. So I thought, oh shit, and it was a YouTuber, Welford. It was Welford. So I was thinking, oh, maybe he's been on like Welford's channel and like they've said something to each other. Do you hear what I'm saying? And he's just saying hello, and I'm calling him by his second name, and I don't know Conroy like that. I've spoke to him like a few times on Twitter, and we're both Liverpool fans. Other than that, like we're not bros, so I don't know what he prefers. So I'm thinking, yeah, let me be respectful and call him by his first name, which I thought would have been Alex. So for the whole show, I was just there going, so Alex, so about this summer transfer window, mate. You know what I mean? So Alex, about Origi, mate, you know what I mean? It's just, this form is absolutely diabolical, isn't it, Alex? I was just there fucking calling him Alex the whole stream. Man like Nick, then messages me on WhatsApp, and these are all pissing, right? And I hear Nick go just subtly, it's Conroy. It's Conroy. Out of nowhere, it's Conroy. And I'm like, shit.
People make stuff up.
Wait, guys.
That was just brilliant.
If you go and check that out, guys, please, if you go and check that out, right? 102, you see me go down, right? The gold, the magic is in like the 5 or 6 seconds after that when this dozy bastard is like, and you can just see it running through his head, like, and then he's like,
and then me looking at Alan and I'm staring like, who's Alex?
I was like, what?
Mate, genuinely, do you know what?
Shout out James Redmond.
That was the best 5 minutes.
It was so funny. I was in stitches like over something so.
Mate, it's because I'm just a dozy bastard.
LFC talk show.
This is the show, man. This is the show.
And I was thinking, is Nick's second name Alex, or is it Alex Nick or something? I was thinking, is it about Nick or what's going on? And we were all, me and Conroy was looking at each other. I was like, I know it's not Conroy, and it was just so funny. We're all.
It was brilliant, honestly.
That's just my dozy brain. My dozy brain.
Good way to start the full show.
Honestly, broke the ice like that. I really enjoyed it.
Amazing. I really enjoyed it. That's it. And like,
to
be honest, definitely, lads, 100%. Khaled, shout out to yourself, City fan here, lads, but I think you guys will win the Champions League. That's very interesting. Do you know what? I'm going to touch on that for a little quick second. Thank you very much for the super chat as well, my mate. The starting 11 that we finalised, though, that we think Jurgen Klopp's going to go with is Alisson in goal, Robbo left back, Trent right back, centre backs Kabak and Phillips. Wait, did we say Robbo? Yeah, we did say Robbo, didn't we?
Yeah.
Number 6, Fabinho. Just in front of him, we've got Thiago and Keita. Is what we think we'll go with.
Unanimously, I think that's what we went with.
What we think he'll go with.
You don't. But
I think that Curtis will start, but these 3 have gone with Naby, and then the front 3 we've all gone with Jota. Was it Mane and Salah to start the front 3? Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, it was me and you, James, went with Curtis, but I think Klopp might play Keita.
Okay, face. And I want Curtis, and I think Curtis will start as well. I think Curtis might start. I think he's going to go with it. I think he rested him for a reason in the last game, but I'm not ruling out Naby either. And then Khaled says, as a City fan, where he thinks we will win the Champions League. The only thing I can kind of maybe go off that, based on substance, is they've just lost the first game in 22, and they don't usually win the Champions League. And we've won it recently. Other than that, I don't really know what else. We've a lot of good
omens coming in.
I think they've but I think they've got a more realistic chance of winning it.
Yeah, I think defensively look much better than they ever have in the Champions League this season. But for me, I hate when people say this, but I'm going to say it.
By the way, people, Conroy, before you say your point, people, ask the questions in the chat. We're going to take your questions now before we round up the stream. We're going to do like 5-10 more minutes. So any questions you want to ask me or the lads about the team or whatnot, get them in. And boom, Conroy, go ahead. Sorry, my mate.
I think defensively they're much better, and we can't deny that. Listen, we're sceptical about Ruben Diaz, but he has been a brilliant signing, and I think we'll find out. I mean, last season personally, that was when I was surprised. See, when they didn't beat Lyon, and when they got it to 1-1, Sterling misses that open goal. For me, I'm not even being funny about the fans. I'm not going into that, but because that was behind closed doors, you could just show you were the better team. You just showed it. They had a great chance last year. For us to win it, I need to see us beat a team who sits back, or a team who, either way, a team who is attacking, but like a Dortmund or a Munich are unbelievable, and to really believe we can win it. But see, if we get a Porto, for example, I'd want that. But if I seen us beat them and then get to a semi-final, and by that time our performance levels, just like James is saying, why he wants us to go strong against Wolves, because he wants to see a better performance, get some consistency. That's how I would believe. The only caveat I've got, guys, you see 2005, different style manager. I'm not saying we can't adapt, but Benitez was very adaptable, very tactically astute, could look at other teams and cause a weakness to them to stop them. As good as we are for some players, I don't think we're that type of team. I feel like we've got a way of playing, we can adapt, but we're not like Benitez. Benitez is a master at tactically working out, and look at Mourinho's team, he stopped them in the semi-final. So it's cliche. I do think, though, if we could get a Porto, or even, I know Bizzle said, shout out to Bizzle again, Madrid, because Madrid aren't firing now, I think we've got a chance, because if we get through that to the semis, anything can happen in the semi-final. But by the time we get to the semi-final, we have to be performing better, because we can't just turn up at Anfield because the fans are not there. We physically have to perform better. There's no we'll get through this game with the 12th man. That won't happen. So by that time, I agree with James. I think we need to keep playing our strongest team in the league. I don't care if we finish 7th, but if we're playing better, I think that's our best chance. Yeah, for me anyway, guys.
I hear what you're saying. There. Do you know what, boys? We'll answer these questions and then we'll wrap up the stream. Shout out to everyone, man. Shout out to everyone who's in the stream. Make sure that you're smashing the likes. Also, go subscribe to Saint LFC TV. He's the boy who's got the picture of Thiago. But, here he is, the main guy. Go subscribe to him, people. He's smashing it on his YouTube channel. Please go and support the videos. He deserves it. And, obviously, you show me the support, so I don't know why you can't go and do it to him. But, shout out to the Redmond army, man. Always getting stronger, and I do appreciate it. Anyway, from the main man, Reese, if Origi and Shaq was to leave, who would you guys bring in to replace them? We'll be brief about these ones, boys, because we've got quite a lot of questions. I don't know if they're at their calibre. I'd take Neto for both of them. Yeah. Obviously, we'd have to put money into it, but, I'd take Neto over both of them. I'd even throw Oxlade-Chamberlain.
I'd even throw Oxlade-Chamberlain as well.
And then I'll get Neto. Like, would you agree? Conroy, this is a question for you.
Why are you go to 5? What does goatified mean?
It means you're the goat. Means you're the. I don't know what noise a goat makes.
Thanks very much, mate. Shout out to Tony as well, and shout out for the last tweet. I'll save that and frame that, mate. Because, cheers, mate. Thanks very much. Love on being on the show. Just happy to be here.
Oh, it is right. Shout out to Tony. Ever going to do a collab with Anfield's Agenda, James? And what can we do if FSG say no money and we can't sell our Deadwoods? Will I do a collab with Anfield's Agenda? I'd never say... If he asked me, I wouldn't say no. And I'd love to get him on the channel as well. Shout out to Craig, man. And what can we do if FSG say no money and we can't sell our Deadwoods?
Who knows, Tony?
That's another debate.
You can't boycott the stadium because we're not in it.
I'm going around with the boys.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Mate. Trust me.
No, yeah, facts. Ben, what positions would you lads prioritise in the summer? Mine would be centre-back, striker,
number 9.
I think they're my priorities. If I'm going to say two major, like backup right back and whatnot.
Yeah, you could probably get a right back for quite cheap, the way you could probably get a backup right back on with that. I agree, James, 100%. Striker is the priority, and the centre back as well, given that Kabak doesn't stay. But for me, we need a number 9. We need to evolve.
Raul Jimenez and James Tavernier. It's not going to happen.
Would be gorgeous. Oh, imagine.
You think Trent's bad defensively? Like, Tavernier's amazing attacking wise, but it's
great free kick though.
Oh, mate, he'll be in the box. He'll be in the 6-yard box. Honestly, that's how high he goes.
He's a crazy fullback, mate.
He's mad.
Guys, he's been injured. He scored 17 goals so it's 14. He scored a lot of goals, a lot of assists. He's been injured for the past month. So he's missed like 3 months of the season.
He's a tank as well, isn't he? As well.
Shout out to Ahmal. There's Liverpool transfer rumours of Varane coming to Anfield. I believe this player will sort out all defensive issues. What do you guys think? If we got Varane, game over.
Yeah.
Game over.
In a nutshell, yeah.
The line will be on the opposition 6-yard box if we've got Varane.
No, the line would be the highest of lines simply for the fact we've got the pace of him. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I'm saying the opposition 6-yard. That's how high we'll be up, like because he can catch.
Play such a high line.
That's what I'm saying.
Varane is that's a great comment.
We're not far off it now, mate.
Yeah, no, I know, but I don't think Varane. Unfortunately, guys, I just can't see Varane happening. For me, unfortunately,
I don't think so.
We'll see.
No, definitely.
It's a strange summer, though, guys. It's a strange summer because the big guns aren't as the usual big giants aren't as financially strong and are in a bad state. So, do you know what? Weird things could happen this summer.
Definitely. Shout out to Big Six Bands. Make sure that you go and subscribe to a man like Monster, main brother. He's been coming on the channel. Shout out to Mons. He's going to start coming on after the games. In fact, you know what? I'm going to take this chance dead quick, boys, and we are going to wrap up in the next 2. But I'm going to, by the way, people, because I said at the start, I'm going to announce something at the end of it. So I'm going to start doing a few changes to how I do my match day content. So the live watch along will still be there, still going to be the same, still going to be on the channel. But after the live watch along, for people who are interested and for people who care, I'm going to start doing a live match reaction. So basically about half an hour I'll probably schedule it after the game finishes or after I finish my watch along. I'll schedule it for about then. And basically the first 10-15 minutes I'll give my sort of quick thoughts on the game, and then after about 10 minutes or so I'm going to bring in the lads. My brother Nick's going to start coming into the stream. Darren said he's more than happy to join in as well, and Conroy has said if he is free he is going to jump in. So we're going to start basically getting guests on the instant match reactions, try and get more of a broader sort of opinion on the game, because I can give my opinion and I can miss out a lot of things. I'd feel a lot better after recording and putting a video out if we really all spoke about it and all looked at it from each other's point of view. Think that'd be better for everyone. Also, these shows have been amazing, people. The support that you've all been showing is fantastic. The support that you've been showing the lads is brilliant. Even Paul saying here, Darren needs a YouTube channel. Darren, you do. Conroy saying goes for you. Hey, by the way, people, that was an update, a little exclusive here on James Redmond TV. That was an exclusive. It's in progress, in progress. Proper order, yeah. Shout out to Welford TV as well. Make sure you go subscribe to him. But people,
Welford.
That has been another episode of what we like to call the LFC Talk Show. Absolutely brilliant show again, lads. I really appreciate that you keep coming on the channel. You're bringing a lot to it. You're making it a much better place. And the people in the chat, this is why you make it. The people say, James, why do you keep posting every day, James? You're posting loads. It's easy when you've got all you supporting in the chat. I'll tell you that, and I'll tell you that for free, people. So thank you very much for the constant love. Thank you very much for supporting the lads. Once more, before we end the stream, we want to get Nick as close to 250 subscribers as possible. Saint LFC TV, you can see his name there. I would plug Darren and Conroy, but again, they don't have a YouTube channel. But Darren's is in progress.
Soon coming, though.
The world's greatest journeyman. And once more, shout out to yourselves, man.
That's the name of the YouTube channel.
Oh my god. Yeah. Nick, I think we've just found a new show that doesn't have to be football related. Darren and Conroy, the journeyman. The journeyman. Me and Nick will produce it.
We're going to be like Robbo and Trent. We'll have our own double channel. Do you know what I mean? Like Robbo and Trent, the assist kings. We're going to have our own. The journeyman. I like that.
An Irish Darren.
Yeah. That's white.
An Irish Darren and a Scottish Alex. We're going to do this.
Love that. No, shout out to everyone, man. Shout out to yourself, Tony, showing the support. Shout out to Big Six Bands getting in on the super chats before we finish the stream. For being that'll be all. Thank you very much for watching James Redmond TV. Man like Mont was here to round up the stream. We love that. Smash the like, people. Subscribe to all the boys. Thank you for watching, and we will see you all later. Peace.